Syria, and that has made it a popular target for airstrikes by various anti-the Islamic State factions. So far, however, the strikes have appeared and selling precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks, they're Bitcoin preferred, and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge ruled on Monday that former Turing Pharmaceutical CEO Martin Shkreli cost investors more than $10.4 million in a Ponzi scheme. U.S. District Judge Kayu Matsumoto found that Shkreli lied to investors in a hedge fund to encourage them to put up $6.3 million and lost $4 million belonging to investors from another fund by funneling their money into a drug company he founded called Retrofin Incorporated. Prosecutors argued Shkreli caused between $9 million and more than $20 million in losses. Shkreli's lawyer argued he caused no loss and hoped he would receive a sentence of 16 months or less, as he paid hedge fund investors their money back and more with cash and stocks in Retrofin. The judge ruled Shkreli should not receive credit for paying the investors back because he only returned the money after they became suspicious of the scheme. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday dealt a setback to President Donald Trump, requiring his administration to maintain protections he sought to end for hundreds of thousands of immigrants brought into the United States as children in violation of immigration laws. The justices refused to hear the administration's appeal of a federal judge's January 9th nationwide injunction that halted Trump's move to rescind a program that benefits immigrants known as Dreamers, implemented in 2012 by Barack Obama. The protections were due to start phasing out in March under the Republican president's actions announced in September. Under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, roughly 700,000 young adults, mostly Hispanics, are protected from deportation and given work permits for 2-year periods, after which they must reapply. Congress so far has failed to pass legislation to address the fate of the Dreamers, including a potential path for citizenship. San Francisco-based U.S. District Judge William Alsup ruled last month that the government must continue to process renewals of existing DACA applications while litigation over the legality of Trump's action is resolved, prompting the administration's unusual move to bypass a federal appeals court and take the matter directly to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Trump administration argued that Obama exceeded his powers under the Constitution when he bypassed Congress to create DACA. In a brief order, the U.S. Supreme Court said the appeal was denied without prejudice, indicating they will maintain an open mind on the underlying legal issue still being considered by the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Immigration activists said they were grateful that the Supreme Court gave DACA recipients more time, but said many young immigrants are still left unprotected. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Well, our own Rebecca Mera takes us on a tour of the Olympic Village.
We have a full-size bed, lounge area, showers, plenty of space, which is great because I'm constantly having sex in there.
The Village is a temporary home to the world's most physically impressive athletic men and women. It was important to the Olympic Committee to give them a comfortable, state-of-the-art area to each other's brains out while they're not competing.
We have a pool where they can have sex, a theater where they can have sex. All these athletes are hot, horny, ready to go. They deserve the best.
I was in Vancouver where I got eaten out by this French speed skater. I have to say, these facilities are even better, and I'm going to try to a Japanese guy.
You've spared no expense.
These athletes deserve the best. They sacrifice so much for their countries. They deserve to be able to until their and can't take it anymore.
And these facilities won't go to waste. Once the Olympics are over, they'll be converted to a resort where Russian businessmen can come to their prostitutes.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want by dialing toll-free here at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, so feel free to Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. Here in the studio with you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
So it seems like everything in the news is about these school shootings. I mean, it's all over the place. And Mark, that's some of what you brought in here tonight. Are schools actually dangerous, more so these days than they were in the past?
Well, no. News.northeastern.edu says schools are safer. Pardon me, I sort of have my voice in between the time when we started and now.
Well, you know, maybe you caught what I caught after coming back from Mexico, because I've been just barely getting over that just now.
Schools are safer than they were in the 90s, and school shootings are not more common than they used to be.
Really?
Researchers say. The deadly school shooting this month in Parkland, Florida, has ignited national outrage and calls for action on gun reform. While certain policies may have helped decrease gun violence in general, it's unlikely that any of them will prevent mass school shootings, according to James Allen Fox, the Littman family professor at criminology, law, and public policy at Northeastern. Since 1996, there have been 16 multiple victim shootings in schools or incidents involving 4 or more victims and at least 2 deaths by firearms, excluding the assailant. So it's important to define these things because haven't you heard that? I mean, they said 16 multiple victim shootings. I've heard a number that says there have been 18 school shootings this year.
Would a school shooting count if somebody took a gun and blew their own brains out at a school?
Yes.
Yeah.
If a gun discharged in the parking lot.
Sort of like how when the police do numbers on alcohol-related traffic accidents, they include the people who had a 6-pack of beer in the back seat, right? They weren't drinking, but there was alcohol related to the traffic accident.
It's like that, only it's a much, much, much more broad and deep lie, right? So the number I saw that said there are 18 school shootings this year before Parkland. Versus
before Parkland, meaning within the last 2 months,
right?
Yeah,
this year, 2018, this year, not in the last 12 months,
right?
This year, 18 school shootings.
That's insane.
Since 1996, there have been 16 multiple victim shootings in schools or incidents involving 4 or more victims and at least 2 deaths by firearms, excluding the assailant. Of these, 8 are mass shootings or incidents involving 4 or more deaths, excluding the assailant. So half of those, 2 or 3 people died. And not to say that that's not a tragedy for the 2 or 3.
It's very significant for those people.
But, I think that this is a good way to describe what a school shooting is to the minds of what people are. Mass shootings in which 4 or more people died, excluding the assailant, involving firearms.
Okay.
Yeah. So they go on to say this is not an epidemic. Mass school shootings are incredibly rare events. In research published this year, Fox and doctoral students Emma Friedel found that on average mass murders occur between 20 and 30 times per year. And about 1 of those incidents, on average, takes place at a school.
Okay.
And considering that sounds about right when you break out the age groups, or whatever, and you say that where are these people likely to be and care about? Home, work, those places are the places that, and school. Those are the things that people care about, right?
And school, of course, is a place where people are notoriously bullied for being different, and also places where there are no guns allowed. So, of course, they're perfect places for mass murders to occur because no one can defend themselves.
Yep. Friedel and Fox used data collected by USA Today and FBI's supplementary homicide report. Let's see, Mother Jones, Everytown. The research also finds that shooting incidents have been declining significantly since the 1990s.
Now, why is that? Now, obviously, they're not necessarily going to get into the detail here because it's just pure speculation. Correlation is not causation and all that. But why would the violence at schools be going down over time? Is it because there are police officers on campus? I wouldn't think so, because there have been police officers on campus for the last couple of decades in most places. So
crime's been going down generally.
Just because crime's been going down generally?
Also, I would say that homeschooling's becoming more common, so some kids can figure a way out. Ultimately...
Meaning if they're in a place where they're being bullied or whatever, they can get out?
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't that what you imagine a school shooter is a person who doesn't have power in any other way, so brings power
Certainly
to bear in the only fashion that they can?
Yeah, that's definitely what happened with the Columbine shooters, right?
It is, and there's been a few others, and, I mean, obviously there's crazy people too, plenty of them. But I mean, yeah, it seems to me that nut jobs are the ones that are mostly involved in it, and the people that really want to get away from it, they can get homeschooled. I mean, ultimately, at what age were you being left home alone, Ian?
7.
Oh my God, it seemed early.
Sorry, Johnson's joining us. Hello, Johnson.
That's about the age they started leaving me home alone.
Yeah, my parents let me come home. They gave me keys to the house. I walked home from the bus stop.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like 8 or 9 or something, but maybe 7's fine.
Well, these days, parents will get arrested for that crap, but this was the 1980s.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, if the kid's there by high school age, and most of the school shootings I think of high school. Obviously, there's the Sandy Hook one, but that wasn't perpetrated by a student. So, if a high school student can opt out and become homeschooled if they wish to teach themselves. I mean, ultimately, when it comes to learning something in high school, you don't have to learn much. I knew all the math I needed to know before I entered the door in high school. The pre-algebra that I took in 8th grade was more than sufficient to
doesn't even necessarily need to be homeschooling. I brought in some stats for later, but how many of these school shootings do you hear about happening at private schools?
Not too often, but a private school is pretty expensive. You could get a curriculum for your kid for homeschooling.
Right, but I mean, what should we be banning? Guns or public schools?
Oh, I already went off on this Saturday and Sunday. So yeah. I say when it comes to school shootings, don't ban the shootings, ban the schools. So I'm with you on that. I agree 100%.
They're going to get right on that.
Well, they're not going to, because we had the teachers call in. You guys are crazy. Immediately. No, that's not acceptable. 4 times the number of children were killed in schools in the early 90s.
I gotta say, before these teachers calling in and all that stuff, it's so sweet that these unions might get their comeuppance real soon.
What do you mean?
Well, there's something that's about to go through the Supreme Court. There's some cases that are going through the Supreme Court, in the federal Supreme Court, about basically saying that unions can no longer, and it's the federal unions that's specifically being targeted here, can no longer force employees to pay dues. So if you're at a union shop, like most of these schools are.
And this would apply to public sector unions?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
And essentially, they can no longer force people to pay the dues. So if you're not a member, if you're an employee, but you're not a member of the union, you will no longer be required to pay for something that you don't want to be a part of.
Well, I think you would have to be a member if they were, because everyone has to pay, so therefore they have to be members, right? Like if you're paying, you're a member.
No,
you can pay but not be a member.
No, yes, because you are forced to pay, even if you're not a member.
And they don't give you any of the benefits?
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so essentially, if you join a union employer, like a union shop where there is a union at that employer, even if you don't want to be a part of the union, you are forced to pay the dues. Even if you don't agree with it, you're forced to pay the dues. That's how it works.
I knew
currently.
That was the case, but I didn't realize they would then deny you whatever the supposed benefits are after that. We'll take your money, but we won't give you.
No, because there are certain people that say, I don't want to be a member of your union.
Yeah.
So if you don't choose, you still have to pay, but if you choose to not be a member of the union, of course you're not going to get the benefits because you're not a member.
You get some of the benefits, you don't get others of the benefits.
Let's continue here in moments talking about school campus safety, and your calls are certainly welcome. Our toll-free number here is 855-450 free like freedom, 855-450-3733. Join us on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may dial in toll-free here at 855-450-FREE like freedom and take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever's on your mind, 855-450-3733. Blink Home Security. You can get some wireless cameras for your house or maybe your small office, and they are just about the easiest thing you could possibly imagine to get your home security system up and rolling. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. And you can get your system there, and you can get as many cameras as you want. You'll basically get 3 Blink cams for what some of the other guys might charge you for one wired camera. over in some of the other systems that are available out there. Go check out blinkprotect.com/FTL. It really doesn't get easier than this. I mean, I've set this thing up here at the LRN studio, and I can't even imagine any way they could make it any more streamlined. Go and try it out for yourself. blinkprotect.com/FTL. It is definitely not going to break the bank, and it's surprisingly good quality for the price that you're paying over at blinkprotect.com/FTL. It's Ian Johnson and Mark in the studio. And Mark, I know that you've got more here from the story about safety on campuses. They're apparently less violent than ever, and even the school shootings that are supposedly, the media wants you to believe are so common are actually less common now than they were in the past. We'll tell you more about that, though. But first, Martin is on the line in Bullhead City, Arizona, listening to K-Talks. Hello, Martin. Do we have Martin in Bullhead City? Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you?
You're on the radio. Go ahead.
Oh, let me turn my radio off.
That's always a good idea. Whenever you call talk radio, you always want to turn the radio down because it will confuse the hell out of you.
I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm really disheartened by the anti-gun rhetoric that's being portrayed and expressed in our communities.
Okay.
The 10-year, combat veteran, I can assure you that every outpost, when I was deployed to Central America, we had guns up, and you look at all these celebrities, they're clamoring about anti-gun this and anti-gun that. They all have armed security.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really ironic. It's really ironic. That,
and the politicians as well. They tend to have armed security, too. They think they're important.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really, it hurts me because of the simple fact that they're trying to paint us all as these diabolical creatures that own firearms. And it's not the case.
No, it's ridiculous. There are millions of guns in this country. Hundreds of millions of guns? Like enough guns for one for every person. And if gun owners were more likely to actually commit crimes, then there'd be a hell of a lot more crime out there. In fact, gun owners stop crimes in massive numbers, in numbers that don't even get reported, right? Because if you are, if you're in a parking lot and somebody tries to rob you and you successfully stop that from happening by showing or drawing your gun, but you don't shoot the potential assailant and the person just, gets away, then, you don't necessarily report that to the police. You just kind of go about your night in a lot of cases and just chalk it up to a learning experience and feeling lucky.
Right. And there was a thing spoken by John Dryden. He was born in 1631 and died in 1700. He said, self-defense is nature's eldest law. And I can assure you that I live by that. And I used to be a coroner transport technician for a sheriff's department, so I saw the best and the worst of people, gangland shootings, homicides, and things of that nature.
Not in Bullhead City, right?
No, thank goodness. But I can assure you that I've seen the best and the worst in people.
Mm-hmm. I was through there. I went through Bullhead City about 15 years ago, and I thought, wow, this is a nice place to live.
It truly is. It truly is. And I love it, and I'm happy as a gopher in soft dirt. So it's all good. But you just have to remember, I'm 54 years old. I did my 10 years. I served in Central America chasing Danny Ortega around. So just, self-defense. That's all it's about. And they want to paint us as villains, and I don't buy it. I don't buy it, nor will I ever buy it.
Yeah, if you want to increase crime, then go ahead and get rid of guns, because then all the people who were able to defend themselves, their friends, their families, and their neighbors with their guns will no longer be able to legally do it. You can always keep a gun around illegally and take the risk, but many people will obediently turn in their guns, and of course that's tragic, but that's just the way
some people are attempting to do it now, and no one's even asking them to. I mean,
to do what now?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
Facebook is full of pictures of people like destroying their their ARs and turning them in to police departments.
I heard that they were showing people disabling, like cutting the barrels off their ARs, which is a felony, basically, to do that.
Oh, my God. Yes, it's modifying a firearm, exactly.
Right. Well, I mean, you can modify your guns in certain ways legally, but cutting barrels down below certain lengths will, I believe, cross a certain line into an illegal action. I'm not an attorney, but that's just my understanding of that.
Thank God.
Thank God for what?
Thank God you're not an attorney. Your stock just went up 20 points.
Thanks for the call, Martin. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. Look, I get it. Guns are scary. They look scary. They make loud noises. If you point it at somebody and you pull the trigger, they're going to get a hole in them. So, I mean, there's definitely a need to respect guns. There's no doubt about it. They are dangerous tools in the same way that a knife is a dangerous tool. And, of course, we've seen mass stabbings happen in places where guns have been prohibited as well. So just taking guns out of people's hands isn't going to end violence. Violence is going to continue as long as we have psychopaths and nut jobs and politicians around to, continue to commit these acts. What implement they choose to use. And you can argue that, well, if somebody goes around doing a mass stabbing, it's more likely that more people will survive that. And that's a true statement from what I can tell. But regardless, it ignores the fact that guns are used so commonly for self-defense and used successfully for self-defense. But you don't hear those stories on the evening news. It's very, very
Wouldn't
rare.
you much rather defend yourself from a knife attack with a knife? Doesn't that sound fun?
Well, if you've got somebody who's close in on you and they've got a knife and you've got a gun, they've got the upper hand in that particular case.
It depends on whether your gun is drawn or not.
Sure.
Right.
No, I just mean just in general. Wouldn't it be fun to just,
do knife fighting?
You have to, you have to defend yourself from a criminal, so you might as well not have a gun. You might as well have a knife to defend yourself with.
None of it sounds
because
fun
it sounds
to me.
great.
Yeah,
having a gun, defending yourself with a gun doesn't sound fun either. Right. But I mean, having a knife to do it, just so much, just great.
It sounds
it's
very
wonderful.
difficult. Yeah, it sounds very, very.
You're a woman. You're under threat of getting raped. You don't want to have to not get into any kind of combat whatsoever. And just have a gun and say, get away. I'm going to call the cops right now. Instead you get to pull out a knife.
Right?
Great.
Or pepper spray or whatever. It's the great equalizer. It can take somebody who is not built like a big person and cannot defend themselves easily physically against a larger aggressive attacker, and it evens those odds. And there have been plenty of women and others out there who've used guns to protect themselves. And to make those people into criminals is a tragic thing, and all of this is based on emotion of, oh my God, let's call the government in here and ban something because it works so well with drugs.
We can ban something. Ban government school.
How about we ban government while we're at it? The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733, Free Talk Live.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon, or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Frustrated trying to get business capital? Want to take the slow process and rejection out of the equation? GCNloans.com removes the slow, irritating approval process. Instead, get quick, simple funding. Powered by David Allen Capital, 80% of our pre-qualified clients are approved in days. Pre-qualify at GCNloans.com and get your money this week. It's that easy. GCNloans.com. That's GCNloans.com.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com, advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Join us here. And bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Maybe you've heard about Bitcoin. Maybe you don't really know anything about it. You've just been too busy. You just haven't been so sure if you want to look into it, but now you're sure. You've heard it's over $10,000 per Bitcoin. You've heard about your friends getting into it, and you've just been putting it off and putting it off. Go learn about it. Take some time out. Take 5-10 minutes out of your life. Go to bitcoin.com and learn the basics about Bitcoin. You really owe it to yourself if you care about money, if you care about having a financial future. I mean, because cryptocurrency is here to stay, and Bitcoin was the very first of all of them, and there are a lot of them now. So go find out about the one that started all of it. Go to bitcoin.com. Once again, that's bitcoin.com.
Yeah, I've heard people want to start mining Bitcoin. You can do so easily at Pool. For a mining pool, pool.bitcoin.com.
I'm doing it, except I'm mining Bitcoin Cash, not the Bitcoin Core, which is kind of the first Bitcoin.
They're both Bitcoin.
They are both Bitcoin, but they're different. So go to bitcoin.com. You can learn about all of that. It's Ian Johnson and Mark here. Of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind. You can also call us on Skype. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. And I forgot to mention earlier, we've got the on-air call-in line on our Discord chat, which is where listeners of Free Talk Live and hosts of the show are frequently found before, during, and after the show. And then there is a on-air call-in line on that Discord, which you can hop into, and you'll sound in a lot of cases like you're sitting here in the studio with us. So head over to discord.lrn.fm, and you can call in toll-free as well, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Mark, you were telling us about some statistics. Somebody's run the numbers. They found that, guess what? even though the media sure is reporting on all these school shootings as though there are so many of them, turns out they're less likely to be happening these days than they were, 10, 15, 20 years ago?
4 times the number of children were killed in schools in the early 90s than today.
Wow.
There's not an epidemic of school shootings.
See, because I don't even remember hearing about it until Columbine, which was 1999?
Right.
And they're saying it was happening in the early 90s.
It was happening before that. Adding that more kids are killed each year from pool drownings or bicycle accidents. There are around 55 million school children in the United States, and on average, over the past 25 years, about 10 students per year were killed by gunfire at school, according to Fox and Friedale's research. Not to say...
How's that compare to lightning strikes?
It's on par.
Really?
Yeah, as I recall.
All right.
Because you're less likely to be a student, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think students are, I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
But it's not in this, but I remember that it's less likely to be than being struck by lightning. Fox said, however, some policy changes aimed at decreasing school shootings and gun violence in general certainly have merit. Banning bump stocks and raising the age of purchase for assault rifles from
that does not have merit.
18 to 21 are good ideas and may lead to it. Let me finish the damn sentence.
I'll let you do it, but who's writing the story?
This is from Northeastern University at northeastern.edu. Purchase for assault rifles from 18 to 21 are good ideas and may lead to a decrease in overall gun violence.
No, they won't. Let's stop there and talk about that for a moment. These are isn't this what Donald Trump has proposed to do? To raise the age to 21 and ban bump stocks?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't see how bump stocks is going to do anything.
No, it's just a feel-good, we're the politicians, we're doing something. Right. Hey, we banned something. That's going to change everything.
We're going to raise the age from 18 to 21 because of all those high schoolers who are under 18.
21.
Under 18.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure.
I mean, there might be some high schoolers who are over 18, but I don't think it's the majority of them. Just maybe.
Yeah. Over the past 35 years, there have only been 5 cases in which someone ages 18 to 20 used an assault rifle in a mass shooting.
Over the past 20 years, you said?
35.
35
and that's in a mass shooting.
Any mass shooting.
Not in a mass shooting at a school.
Anywhere.
Right. So I don't know why they think that's a good idea.
It's just something they can do.
Yeah. Increasing mental health resources for students is another strategy that might improve school safety.
We need to increase mental health resources for these people who want to ban guns.
Calling it...
Oh, great. Let's put more students on drugs because that's going to help. Let's give more of these, ADHD drugs that we find out almost every single school shooter has been on some of these prescription medications. Is that what's going to happen if we increase health resources for students? They're going to get more drugs? Because it seems like that's what the government equates to health, is drugging people up.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah. She also said that U.S. is facing a desperate shortage of guidance counselors. Apparently, that's what it is. I wonder how many people walked into schools, shot some people, and said, "Where's my guidance counselor?"
Only I could have had a guidance counselor. How many people out there have ever
the
gone?
Most useless person. I mean, just useless.
How many people out there have actually ever gone to a guidance counselor?
I went, but they were
Did you really?
Useless. Yeah.
What for?
I remember actually, after talking to my guidance counselor, needing to bring a weapon to school.
You wanted to shoot somebody?
No, I brought a knife to school because I felt like I wasn't going to get any protection from the useless staff at the school when I was attending a public school because it was that bad.
What did you go to talk to the guidance counselor about?
I remember that there was fighting and stuff like that. It was like kind of like one of those things where I was directed to the guidance counselor.
No, what I meant was, how many people actually went to the guidance counselor on their own volition? Like, I want to get some guidance from this person who's a total stranger to me. I really respect your opinions.
Drugs are bad and Kai.
Yeah. I've never
That's the
even
guidance
considered
counselor.
Never considered going to a guidance counselor.
You went to government school the whole time.
I did.
I went to a private school where I got a lot of sort of personal attention for my education. And so I saw an opportunity to talk about my education with somebody, and I did. I just didn't realize they didn't know anything.
Well, it's a doctor. They must know things.
Doctor? What?
Mark, just remember drugs are bad.
Sometimes they've got doctorates in things.
I'm not sure that person had a doctorate. Yeah. I don't think so. Anyway.
Yeah, I really, no, guidance counselors with a doctorate in sociology? I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I'm sure there's some guidance counselor somewhere who's got a PhD.
Yeah.
After the Columbine shooting in 1999, schools across the country began to hold active shooter drills in which they huddled together in a corner or hid under their desks. Such exercises may include someone walking around pretending to shoot students. It can be very traumatic, and there's no evidence that it helped protect students. These measures just serve to alarm students.
Did they just say that the what do they call them? The tests or whatever, the drills, that they're traumatic?
Yeah.
Nobody, at least when I was in school, found any of those drills traumatic. Now, we didn't do the shooter drills because that hadn't happened by the time I got out of high school. But, the tornado drills where you had to hide under your desk. Remember that? I think they even had like nuclear blast drills at one point in the past where you'd hide under your desk. I mean, nobody ever took that stuff seriously.
If they schedule a drill like right after a mass shooting, then some of the more sensitive kids probably could, not like it. Yeah, just saying. I mean, there's counseling going on all across America for the school shooting.
Right.
Not at this school.
There's a bunch of wussies out there is why.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. It's a dangerous place by their estimation, And feeling like you're in a dangerous place doesn't matter about reality. That's why I'm reading the story.
Yeah.
Is that the school that your parents went to was 4 times as deadly as the school you're being sent to. You'll be okay. In all likelihood.
You'll be okay. But best to get out of the government school anyway, because then you'll be even safer.
Well, the government school's got all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
Really, when it comes to active shooter situations, it's getting better, not worse. And you're more likely to be struck by lightning going home than you are to be struck by a bullet at school. So, anyway. Other safety precautions, such as installing metal detectors and requiring ID cards for entry, have also proven ineffective in school shootings.
Yeah.
In addition to being ineffective,
man with a gun doesn't care about your ID cards.
Yep. These measures can do more harm than good. He called the suggestion of arming teachers absurd and over the top. I'm not a big fan of making schools look like fortresses because they send a message to kids that the bad guy's coming for you. If we're surrounding you with security, you must have a bullseye on your back. And that can actually instill fear and not relieve it.
The toll-free number here, if you want to join us and discuss what's on your mind, whether it's these school shootings, and if you're one of the scaredy cats out there, if you're all afraid, I want to hear from you. The toll-free number is
I'm sure they'll call now.
855-450-FREE like freedom.
Hearing.
That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind here. This is Free Talk Live. Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply. Or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. Earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's F-I-V-E starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us here. Our number for you is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
I'm talking about the safety of the school systems, which apparently it's, according to statistics Mark you were sharing with us earlier, is safer than it was, say, 20, 30 years ago. And so all of the fear-mongering that's being pandered by these media organizations and the folks that they're interviewing, acting as though that this is, some seriously dangerous situation, it's really not as bad as they're making it out to be. That's not to say it wasn't horrifying for the people that have been involved in these school shootings. And indeed, if you are at a government school, you are basically fish in a barrel for anybody that does want to come along with a gun. So again, good reason not to send your kids to a government school. In case you needed more reasons besides the crappy education and all the other problems that you've got with government schools by throwing a bunch of children the same age into classrooms with each other and not exposing them to people of adults, not exposing them to that maturing factor and all that. There's all kinds of critique that we can level at the government schools. If you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Also, you can join us online over at freetalklive.com, where we are on Twitch. And our Twitch channel, which we started in early January, so not quite 2 full months in on broadcasting on Twitch, we've now hit our 200th follower there. So thank you to everybody who's hit the follow button for us on Twitch. We've got about 20-something subscribers there, which is down from 40-something, because what happens is, and Mark, you did this with the Twitch Prime, with Amazon Prime. Since you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you sort of sent us your Twitch subscription, because Amazon Prime gives you one free
subscription,
Twitch subscription for each month. But the thing is, you have to do it every single month. So the presumption being that if you're actively watching the channel, then you'll keep giving them your subscription. So for like 20-something people, because we had like 45 subscriptions at the end of last month, so a bunch of people have sort of dropped off because they probably don't watch on Twitch. They heard that we could get a few bucks out of it, so they were nice and they went over to twitch.lrn.fm and they hit the subscribe button. So if you get a chance, do that again for us. We certainly appreciate it. It pumps up our numbers over there. But one thing you can do without the, even if you're not a Prime member, is you can just go and follow the channel on Twitch. And the more people that we have following, that means that whenever we go live, if you've got the Twitch app or you subscribe via email notifications, you'll get a notice reminding you, hey, Free Talk Live, we're live. So come watch us while we're doing the live show. Go to twitch.lrn.fm. It's how you can watch the show in HD quality while we are broadcasting live, which we do 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time. So check that out at twitch.lrn.fm. Of course, there's a chat room built right in there to Twitch, and there's also our Discord chat as well over at discord.lrn.fm, which tends to be where most of the chat action is, but every now and then the Twitch room will kind of take off with some people chatting. So check it out at twitch.lrn.fm. It's Ian Johnson and Mark in the studio here with you tonight. Of course, we'll take your calls about what you want. Johnson, you had a related story. Mark was telling us that the government schools are safer now than they've been in the past. But there's another question that you wanted to answer about school safety.
Sure, yeah, because I've been approaching this from looking at private schools because you don't hear about these shootings at private schools. You always hear about it at public schools, not private schools.
And I know you're going to get into the story. I have not read it myself, but wouldn't that, the easiest reason for that be because there's just not as many private schools. There aren't as many private school students. Like 90% of people go to the government schools.
Probably that's part of it, but I also just come to think of it, the reason that seems most obvious to me, but this is because of my perspective, is that, public schools are shrines to government and government indoctrination, and therefore are shrines to violence. You're cramming a bunch of people together in an environment that they don't want to be in, structuring it to look and feel like a prison, and therefore some violence goes down.
The prisoners are going to act like prisoners, right?
Yeah,
like when we saw the Stanford prison experiment, for instance. If you look at, there's a fascinating website that Phil Zimbardo, who I think was the guy who created that experiment way back when, what was it, the early 70s or something like that, when they created this experiment when you had college students who were selected randomly. They were, just people who responded to a an inquiry, hey, we want to do a study. So they didn't know what the study was going to be about when they came into it. And then they were randomly selected to be either prison guards or prisoners. And what do you know? Everybody fell right into their roles. The prison guards started acting sadistic towards the prisoners. The prisoners themselves started to, have infighting amongst each other, and they acted like prisoners, even though they were just college students a few days beforehand. Right. So could be very similar what you're talking about.
And it's happening on a national level. It seems very clear that that experiment is playing out on a national level and just building. And unfortunately, that experiment ended in some, pretty bad results, and they had to shut it down because it was just getting worse and worse and worse.
Because even Zimbardo himself started to fall into the role of prison warden, and his wife had to shake him out of it and say, "You've gone too deep. You've gotten too involved in this. You are no longer a scientist. You are no longer the external source or observer in this particular case." And he had to admit she was right.
Yeah.
It's a crazy story. If you don't know the Stanford prison experiment story.
There's a movie, I think, now.
Really? Like a documentary style movie or like a dramatized?
Like a dramatized story style
Interesting.
movie. Yeah, also
definitely,
which is also somewhat a documentary.
Sure. It's based on probably based on his book, I would imagine.
Yeah. Okay, so the article I've got here is, are private schools statistically safer than public schools? Goes on to say, there's a great deal of debate when it comes to the comparison of private schools and public K through 12 schools. Many families have concerns about safety at public schools, and some have had bad reputations that justify those concerns. Various studies and statistics tend to support the notion that private K through 12 schools are statistically safer than public K through 12 schools. Sadly, many of those sending their children to dangerous public schools don't have a choice in the matter, as school assignment is typically based on geography. Private school parents can send their children anywhere they want. Public and private academic organizations alike have a lot to deal with these days. School shootings, gangs, crime, drugs, alcohol, discrimination, bullying, misbehavior, physical assault, and even acts of terrorism are just a few of the issues parents and school administrators have to worry about and protect against. I was physically assaulted when I was at public school.
I can't imagine anybody wasn't.
Yeah.
That's...
Well, I imagine in modern times it happens a lot less frequently, actually. just physical assault at schools. I don't think that kind of bullying goes on nearly as much as it did when we were growing up.
Okay.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
Think so? Yeah, I don't think it does.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I mean, you can talk to young people now, and they don't talk about that kind of violence like it's a common place that people would just get literally physically accosted and beat up on a regular basis, that kind of stuff would happen. And to me, it was in elementary school when I was like in first grade, and it was, what's the last grade like before you get out? It's like what?
12th?
8? No. I guess
get out of what?
You go from elementary to middle school.
Well, it depends on
the state.
Sixth, right? Normally it's like 6th, 7th, 8th, so 5th grade.
It depends on the state. Some states don't have middle school, or their high school sort of starts earlier or later. In Florida, it was through 5th grade was elementary.
Right.
At least where I was in Florida, it might differ.
Pretty usual. I mean, these are pretty much federal
and then
standards.
It was 6th, 7th, 8th grade was middle school.
So
and
elementary is
then
1st through 5th. So when I was in 1st grade, I had this 5th grader who was probably abused by his alcoholic father or something like that.
Right.
And when I was on the bus, I would have this kid that would just come seek me out to grab the back of my head and slam it into the bus seat just because he had problems. And he did that to people just because he could, because 1st grade, 5th grade, there's a huge difference in size.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't know this kid. I didn't talk to this kid.
Wow.
I had no interactions. This kid was just disturbed, and of course, it was allowed to happen. Because
and what
they
happened?
didn't care.
Did you complain? Did your parents?
Oh yeah, I did. Oh yeah, and that's why eventually I brought a knife because I was like, I'm going to deal with this myself. So.
How'd that end up finishing out once you started bringing the knife?
He stopped.
You actually flashed the
the
blade? Nice.
So that, public school, great place.
I mean, this is one of the things is I would say that private schools probably less dangerous simply because you're not dealing with, so the alcohol, you claimed his father, and likely, quite possibly, beat him, alcoholic, all these other things. Those are poor decisions. People who tend to be in the lowest quintile are more likely
These are decisions also that, somebody who's in 1st grade shouldn't have to deal with.
Agreed, 100%. So they shouldn't have to deal with it. It's just that the people in the families of the people who are making terrible decisions are more likely to go to public school, is all I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
It's just that, the people who are more likely to make better decisions can afford private schools. The people who are more likely to make bad decisions can't.
And the private schools can also say bye-bye to anybody that's causing a problem there, whereas the government schools, they sort of have to take everybody. We'll talk more coming up here in moments.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, February 27th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.54 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $40, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,722. Antiwar.com reports a U.S. airstrike in eastern Syria's al-Shafaa region has killed at least 25 people on Monday, with more than half of the slain identified as women and children, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. Details of the slain are still emerging, but U.S. spokesman Colonel Ryan Dillon attempted to downplay reports, saying the U.S. takes all allegations seriously, and that if any civilians were killed, they'd be included in the Pentagon's monthly list. The Pentagon, of course, tends to ultimately count only about 10 to 15% of the deaths in their official list. The al-Shafaa region is believed to be one of the last strongholds of the Islamic State forces inside Syria, and that has made it a popular target for airstrikes by various the Islamic State factions. So far, however, the strikes have appeared to kill mostly just random civilians. The Islamic State in Syria is still very much a thing, however, as the group was far from totally destroyed in the U.S.-backed push in northern Deir ez-Zor, and massive numbers of fighters escaped into the countryside, where they are expected to go back into being a landless insurgency. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge ruled on Monday that former Turing Pharmaceutical CEO Martin Shkreli cost investors more than $10.4 million in a Ponzi scheme. U.S. District Judge Kayu Matsumoto found that Shkreli lied to investors in a hedge fund to encourage them to put up $6.3 million and lost $4 million belonging to investors from another fund by funneling their money into a drug company he founded called Retrofit Incorporated. Prosecutors argued Shkreli caused between $9 million and more than $20 million in losses. Shkreli's lawyer argued he caused no loss and hoped he would receive a sentence of 16 months or less, as he paid hedge fund investors their money back and more with cash and stocks in Retrofin. The judge ruled Shkreli should not receive credit for paying the investors back because he only returned the money after they became suspicious of the scheme. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday dealt a setback to President Donald Trump, requiring his administration to maintain protections he sought to end for hundreds of thousands of immigrants brought into the United States as children in violation of immigration laws. The justices refused to hear the administration's appeal of a federal judge's January 9th nationwide injunction that halted Trump's move to rescind a program that benefits immigrants known as Dreamers, implemented in 2012 by Barack Obama. The protections were due to start phasing out in March under the Republican president's actions announced in September. Under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, roughly 700,000 young adults, mostly Hispanics, are protected from deportation and given work permits for 2-year periods, after which they must reapply. Congress so far has failed to pass legislation to address the fate of the Dreamers, including a potential path for citizenship. San Francisco-based U.S. District Judge William Alsup ruled last month that the government must continue to process renewals of existing DACA applications while litigation over the legality of Trump's action is resolved, prompting the administration's unusual move to bypass a federal appeals court and take the matter directly to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Trump administration argued that Obama exceeded his powers under the Constitution when he bypassed Congress to create DACA. In a brief order, the U.S. Supreme Court said the appeal was denied without prejudice, indicating they will maintain an open mind on the underlying legal issue still being considered by the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Immigration activists said they were grateful that the Supreme Court gave DACA recipients more time, but said many young immigrants are still left unprotected. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
I'm getting joined by Ellie Granderson. She's going to put a feminine scope on these lace kerchief starbuggers and give us her lady opinion. Ellie?
Hi, Joe.
You know, it riles me up every time you walk in here, Ellie. You set my blood to dancing with all your pillowy parts.
Oh, stop it, Joe.
now give it to me, no famble, Ellie. When we start dusting these rocket boys' lily white bottoms with baby puff?
Joe, since the end of the Cold War, NASA has basically functioned as a giveaway to the American aerospace industry, wasting trillions of taxpayer dollars every year on extravagant programs with no tangible benefit.
Fine as a plum to look at, all the sense of a badger to boot.
Joe.
Now I've been thinking on, I got these three little chickens pecking on my head. Well, save NASA some coin. Man wants to go to space, can strap on the helmet, climb in the cannon, let the Chinese gunpowder carry him off among the stars. He'll come back now. Gonna skin a fox in one throat, and you're gonna fancy on it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour of the program. As always, you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Joining you here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Still to come here tonight, we'll talk to you about whatever you want to discuss, though so far the show has been focusing on the school shootings. And are schools actually safer today than they were in the past? According to the statistics you looked at, Mark, they are.
Much. 4 times safer.
Lots safer now than they were, a few decades ago, for instance, or just a couple decades back. And we're kind of in a related issue now, Johnson, where you're looking at the question of, are private schools safer than government schools today? And that's kind of where we left off. Where is the story coming from, by the way?
This story is coming from, my extension prevents me from seeing that right off the top. It's richmondalarm.com.
Richmond Alarm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a good name for a newspaper.
I didn't know if it was a newspaper or what that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
Got it.
So, an active shooter scenario is among the worst of parents' fears. These acts of violence get a lot of publicity, as they should. When a tragedy like this occurs, when our nation comes together to mourn for those lost. It also gives us the opportunity to bring the issue of school violence to light.
Again.
Yeah. With school violence is on many people's minds, it's also important to keep things in perspective. Because of mass shootings, people assume kids have a higher degree of risk today than, say, 20 years ago.
Right, the guns are better, right? So they must be at a higher risk.
Are the guns that much better?
No.
No, a lot of gun designs have been around for a long time.
We're just talking about the 1911 today.
Yeah. Statistically speaking, this isn't the case. Few realize that the odds of a student being killed at school were 7 times higher in the 1991-1992 school year than they were in the 2010 and 2011 school term. The odds of being struck by lightning are 1 in 700,000. The odds of a student being killed at school are 1 in 2,700,000.
Wow, so those were the numbers we were looking for earlier when I just happened to ask, Mark,
right.
What are the odds of being struck by lightning?
Independently, I went and took the number of people roundabouts killed by police every year and divided it by the population of the country, which is roughly 323 million. And essentially what that gives you is an odds that's slightly higher than around 1 in 600,000, which means that it's more likely to be killed by a cop than it is to be struck by lightning, and you're also more likely to be killed by a cop than you are to die as a student at school.
4 times more likely, right?
Yeah,
something
like
2.4 million, you said?
2.7 million.
Yeah.
The Broward County Sheriff's Department does not want you to know that statistic.
No.
Yeah.
And I would also guess that if you are a young person, you're probably even more likely to be killed by a police officer. I'm just speculating on that, just because the cops are more likely to go after young males, for instance, than anybody else.
Hell, nobody likes young males.
Yeah. Well, regardless of the statistics, the loss of even one child to violence is one too many, which is why schools must take precautions and find ways to reduce acts of violence on school grounds. or just go away, in my opinion. But anyway.
How about the act of violence that is the threat of violence against the student and the parents if they don't go to the government schools? Because if you don't show up and the government doesn't have a permission slip from you to say that you're not, you don't have to, maybe you don't feel like you need to go to the government schools and you haven't asked any government bureaucrats permission to stop going, well, they're going to send those men with guns, those very cops, to your parents' house, and they're going to be looking for you. And they're going to take you with them at some point.
So the article asks this important question here. Are school shootings more common at private schools or public K-12 schools? A review of the mass school shootings list confirms that most K-12 school shootings have occurred at public institutions.
Well, but is it per capita? Because, I mean, if you're just looking at raw numbers, of course they're mostly going to happen at government schools. Right. Most people go to government schools by a large number, like 90%.
Yeah, if you're going to just judge based on, population density, I guess. But I don't know that that's necessarily even fair.
The most accurate assessment would be to judge the per capita shootings at one school versus another one type of school.
But is that how they do these people are looking at gun violence? I mean, right? I mean, are they looking at it that way? I don't think that they are, but...
oh, no, there's all kinds of statistic manipulations out there. I'm just saying that that's not a fair statistic.
Sure. Well, they say, as of 2017, private K-12 academic institutes have for the most part, been spared from large-scale mass shootings. However, it's important to keep in mind that anything could happen in the future. Neither public nor private K-12 schools should let down their guard. School security should be at the top of every school administrator, both public and private.
Don't worry, they keep saying they're going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And they wanted $500 million in Florida or something like that to post basically these military police at every school. Well, if there's anything we've learned from the past attacks, it's that a senseless act of violence can happen anywhere for any reason, or possibly no reason at all. But
you should be afraid everywhere you go.
Terrorism should win everywhere. You should always be afraid and vote, and give the government more money. Anyways, school violence, private versus public. The Council for American Private Education have compiled an array of statistics related to school violence and how public academic organizations compare to their private counterpart. While this particular organization reports stats that perpetuate the notion that private schools are safer, it's still a pretty close call. Also, keep in mind that the source of these statistics, here are a few of the highlights. Gang presence, 2% of private schools, 19% of public schools.
Yeah. I would guess that gang presence is something that is pretty not tolerated at a private school.
Yeah.
Right? Because at a private school, the people who run that school, they've got customers.
Yeah.
And they're unlike the government schools where they get budgets that are bigger every single year in pretty much every single case, regardless of how many people are attending the schools. They're just going to keep getting paid. Whereas with the private schools, if they're not satisfying their customers, those customers will say bye-bye. And they're going to take their kids out of that private school and put them in another private school or do homeschooling or unschooling. So there's a much higher level of customer service that's involved in that. And one of those things is, hey, we don't want to have an environment where our students, our customers, are going to be threatened by, looming gang members who are lurking in the hallways.
Speaking of statistics not being expressed completely honestly, I think, odds of becoming a victim of a crime. Any crime.
For anybody?
Yeah, for anybody. 2% at private schools, 4% at public schools. Now, if you extrapolate that means you are twice as likely at a public school, twice as likely to experience some kind of crime against you.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It happened to you.
It sure is.
Happened to me.
Who didn't have something stolen from them at public school? In the room. Did you have anything stolen?
I definitely had something stolen from me.
Guys?
Yeah.
Well, me too. 100% of us had larceny committed against us while we were at public school.
A lot of it goes unreported, right? Like somebody stole something out of my backpack.
A lot of it goes uncared about. I mean, I'm certain I reported the fact that...
I didn't.
Yeah, I had stuff stolen, but, I can assure you I did.
It wasn't going to do me any good. I even knew when it happened. When a TI calculator was stolen out of my backpack in high school, I knew because the person bumped into me when it happened.
Oh, hey, and the theme continues. Physical attack by another student. 3% at private schools. 6% at public schools.
Mm-hmm.
Twice as likely to be attacked by some savage student at a public school. So,
yeah.
School safety strategies. There are a number of resources.
Don't go.
Don't go. Close
Strategy
them.
number one.
Close all these public schools. Get rid of it. It's ridiculous. They're garbage. School safety strategies. There are a number of resources and organizations dedicated to helping prevent violence in our schools, such as Students Against Violence Everywhere, Keep Schools Safe, National Association of School Psychologists, the Center for Disease Control, and many more. There are also several companies working to develop teacher and classroom defenses against mass shooters, as well as improve police response time to school emergencies. How about you just close the K-12 schools, sell them all off?
Yeah, all the think tanks in the world aren't going to be able to really improve these situations. Changing the deck chairs on the Titanic, so to speak.
In our little tiny small town alone, it costs over $19,000 per student to educate. And the private schools, I think even in this area, are doing it for less than half that by far.
Some are. Some more, some less.
I've
Depends.
got a solution. Maybe you guys will can punch some holes in it after we're done with this.
Solution to
schooling. I've got a proposal.
Okay, all right.
That I've
Mark's
made up.
proposal coming
Mark's
up here.
Minarchist government school funding, primary and secondary.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways? How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com. With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore. DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
When commercials come on, don't push the button. Instead, listen. Even if you don't sell things for a living, you're still selling in the various conversations and transactions that make up your busy day. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. So take a lesson from Madison Avenue. Often the fewer words, the more effective the message. Like Jiffy Lube, where you never need an appointment, or the Office Max ad that says, you supply the ambition, we supply everything else. How about online ticket broker StubHub.com, the way in when it's sold out, or CyberCupid Match.com's seductive, go ahead, it's okay to look. How cleverly and succinctly can you distill your message? For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can join us here on the radio. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. We're talking about school safety. Of course, the safest option is to get your kids out entirely. But Johnson's sharing with us the differences, the stark contrasts between safety at private schools and at government schools. You know, despite all the talk about safety at government schools, despite all the spending, despite all the the armed guards and the metal detectors or whatever, you're twice as likely to be the victim of a crime, be the victim of violence at a government schools compared to a private school. We'll talk more about that.
We were wondering the source. I just want to say the source we were wondering about on this, whether or not it's a newspaper or not. It's actually a security company. It's an alarm company.
What was it, Richmond Alarm?
Richmond Alarm, yeah.
So we'll talk more about that on the way here. Zencash.com is the place you should go to check out Zencash, which is a newer cryptocurrency. It started in 2017, and there are a lot of choices in the cryptocurrency marketplace. But this one was created by voluntarists, by people who love liberty, by people who understand economics, and people who appreciate anonymity and decentralization and peace. That's what Zencash is all about. Go to Zencash.com. And you'll learn that they've got some of the best technology in addition to having a principled, liberty-oriented team that founded the thing. They've got zero-knowledge anonymity. They've got decentralized autonomous organizations that they're working on building right now to help govern the currency. So go and learn more over at Zencash.com. They've created a secure platform for money and messages that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. It's Zencash.com. They've got over 7,000 secure nodes, which means Zencash is one of the strongest blockchains out there on the planet right now. They've got wallets in multiple languages, and they're available on, I think, 7 exchanges at the moment. So go and learn more. Do your due diligence and learn it at Zencash.com. So we can talk to you about whatever happens to be on your mind. Johnson, you were sharing with us some interesting statistics from the folks at the security company looking at the differences between private schools and government schools. But, Mark, you had a proposal of some sort?
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to read it to you. It is called Mark's Minarchist Solution to Government School Funding, Primary and Secondary.
When did you write this?
A few nights ago. I was having a terrible time sleeping because of my Montezuma's Revenge kind of thing.
Yeah.
Came up with an idea. I figure our audience always likes me to have minarchist solutions to things. And sure, I'll take steps in the right direction. So this is what I got for you.
All right.
On Free Talk Live, we discussed the Parkland shooting consistent with our normal MO. We blamed it on the state, not the state of Florida, the hierarchical monopoly organizational model. Mostly, this elicited a chorus of voices on two sides. One, government schools are great, and you two don't know what you're talking about. And two, you're right, let's kill government schools and start over. We don't get that. What we didn't get, naturally, are people on the fence, and I would imagine they are legion. My co-host,
fence sitters don't tend to call talk radio.
Right.
Right.
My co-host, Ian, and many other hardcore libertarians will howl at my upcoming solution, but they all know in their hearts that a truly free world will not spring from the head of Zeus tomorrow. So I propose a small government solution that is easy and highly implementable. Likely, over 2 years, a short term in office for a politician. Excuse me, I've my thing moved around. First, give all the schools to the teachers, the administrators, the janitors, and employees of the school. No. Administrators at a municipal level, they don't count. They can get real jobs, or the principal of a given school can decide to include them if it's deemed necessary. Don't worry, you aren't losing control over your local school here. You never had it in the first place. The money's gone. It's wasted. You can quit crying now.
Yeah.
2. Set up a means-based scholarship program administered by the property assessor's office. What means-based means is Do they have the means to pay for school? And some people do, some people don't, right?
Okay, meaning a poor person would get a scholarship if they could prove their need.
Kids living in the lowest quintile of domiciles in a municipality. Now, you understand what that means, Ian?
Quintile is lowest fifth?
20%, yeah.
Okay.
The lowest 20% of valued domiciles. Do you get it? It doesn't
Based
mean
on property value.
Right. So a rich person could choose to live in the slums if they wished and receive this.
I see.
Got it?
Seems unlikely, but
Yep,
yes.
It's unlikely.
Yeah.
But it's easy to administer. This is a quick switch. You don't have to have income tax to decide. People don't have to put in forms or anything like that.
Yeah.
The properties assessor's office can sort all the domiciles in their given municipal area, whether it's county or city or town or whatever the hell it is, and they can say sort by value, and whoop. And then you can, hopefully there's a way to figure out what the program very quickly. Show me the quintiles and wham, wham, you're there. If not, I suspect the programming is very minimal to get there.
Okay.
So in a municipal area, the kid gets 75% of what is currently, at this moment, spent per pupil in their area. Got it?
75%, okay.
Yep. So immediate,
That's
25% cut.
Yeah.
Right? As averaged out over the last 5 years. So kids in the second bottom quintile get 50% of that. So 50% of the 75%. Got it?
Okay, which quintile?
The second one down from the bottom. The 20 to 40%.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
So they get 50% of that.
So you're saying subsidize up to the 40% quintile.
Well, because the first thing you say if you say get rid of government schools is what about the poor people, right? And then, well, if you're going to give all this to the poor people, what about the people up from there? What about the person that's right on the line? That's really important, okay?
Yep.
Well, they get half as much. The reason for the 25% reduction in per student spending is a presumed amount of government waste. Bam. I just cut property taxes by 50% or so and prevented the middle-class people from sponging off the dole. You're welcome. Figuring out which domiciles of what value should be a simple sorting task for any database. Click sort by, take the bottom 20%, the next 20%. After that, simple. The government's is never that easy, but there will likely be an adjustment period where they can move their systems into the 90s, if not the 2000s.
Get out of the punch cards.
Yep. People will have to bring in proof of residence, and letters can be sent periodically to the domicile with a do not forward stipulation. Property assessors do this to make sure that that people aren't renting their homes out and claiming them as their residence. Have you ever seen this? This happened to me.
For like homesteading exemptions.
Yeah, this happened to me in Florida. I claimed that I was living in my house. I was actually renting it out. They got me because the renter didn't follow my instructions and give me the darn piece of paper I was looking for. But turns out she worked for the property assessor's office.
No.
I should have known better.
Damn.
Okay.
You blew that one.
Yeah. Figuring out which domiciles are of what value should be a simple sorting task. For those that wish to use their I can't say all this on the call. For those that wish to have a lot of children, I said use their vajayjay as a clown car.
Yeah.
Okay. There will be a diminishment of 20% per additional child on a matriarchal line. So if you want to start a hockey team, do it on your own dime. If you want to get with a gal who has 2 kids and claim that you got to make it your own by pushing a baby through it, that's a vanity baby, and you pay 60% of their schooling.
All right, there's more coming up here in moments. Mark wants to rearrange the deck chairs of the Titanic.
That's basically it there.
We'll continue here in moments. You can share your thoughts. Our toll-free number is 855-450 free like freedom. Is it an improvement? I don't know. Maybe. Sounds like it could be, especially if you didn't really focus on the first part very much. You said turn over the government schools to the teachers. That's a pretty big proposal that could result in significant savings. More coming up.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Free Talk Live
is everything that you've spoken of about the government tonight has been in a negative connotation.
What is there to like about the federal government?
Tell me what's great about the United States federal government.
Protection. They protect us.
They've got a military that's 9 times the next closest military. That's not protection. I'm forced to pay for it.
The terrorists will tell you the reason why they're engaging in terrorist activities, if they are inside the United States, is because of what the U.S. government's military is doing. They're putting us in greater danger through their actions, sir.
When is the last time that you've watched someone else stab someone blatantly or blown themselves up?
That has nothing to do with the federal government.
An armed populace is what keeps a particular area safe, not soldiers.
Yeah, right.
Soldiers are all over the place in Venezuela.
Yeah. Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Join us on the radio here and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You want to find out where liberty-oriented businesses are located? Liberty.menu is a newish site. It started in 2017, and just recently we signed on to, as a partnership basically with Liberty.menu, to help them get out the word that they've got really the best libertarian, liberty-oriented business directory out there. It's more than just businesses, though, that you can list at Liberty.menu. You can also list your digital content and your events. For instance, maybe you got some meetings in your area that you want other liberty-minded folks to know about. You can put those on Liberty.menu as well. It's exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and for those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. These are principled people who made Liberty.menu. They made it easy to use, it's slick, it works well, and it's free. So there's no reason to not go there and put your stuff in there. You got businesses that you want to let other libertarians know about, whether it's in your area or, maybe you can use international customers too. Head over to liberty.menu, get your listings up there on the site. It's got a bit of a social networking aspect to it as well. You can, of course, write reviews of any businesses that you have been a customer of there. And you can share easily with others. Liberty.menu.
Yeah, if you've got a project or some kind of little business or anything like that, this is a great opportunity for you to spread the word very quickly and easily and cheaply.
And it works well. It looks great. Liberty.menu. And, of course, there are upgraded listings available, but, again, totally free just to get on there and start listing today. And, of course, free to look as well. Liberty.menu. So, Mark, your proposal was to, let me see if I can recap this from my understanding, to change around the government school system, not abolish it entirely. You had a minarchist proposal, a small government proposal.
Right. With the proposition that government schools weren't going to go away tomorrow. That's my proposal. Seriously. But look, I get it. I live here in the real world, and I understand that they're not going anywhere tomorrow. But in lieu of that, here's a proposal, and that proposal is, let's do this.
You said to
Step one,
turn the government schools over to their employees, to basically make them employee-owned companies. Whether they live or die in the marketplace would be up to them at that point.
They'd have to be employee-owned companies. I suppose the principal could ask everybody to buy them out or something, but everybody would get some,
They get a share.
Yeah, some kind of share
in this company, and then they've got to figure it out from there. How much do they charge to run the organization? To the different students, and maybe they would come up with different levels of charging for different incomes and that sort of thing. But then on top of that, you said that the government's property office or the property assessor should run a program where the lowest performing or the lowest valued properties in town by the lowest quintile, or 20% to 40%, would get subsidies for vouchers or something like that.
A means-based scholarship program. Vouchers are a little different because the government then comes in and decides what you've got to do and what you've not got to do to be a school.
This would just be a straight check?
This is a scholarship.
Okay.
You could do, it'd be basically a straight check. Yeah. You could do what you wanted with it as far as sending your kid to school and that sort of thing.
Well, wait. Could you do what you want with it, or could you only use it for a school?
It'd have to be used for a school.
Would it be able to be used for homeschooling?
I would think so. I mean, if you could
in that case, you could just do whatever you want with it, right? Because then how are you going to prove that you're homeschooling? How are you going to prove that? Then you're going to have to show spending on homeschooling things. What would that even look like?
I think you'd probably it'd have to go to a school then. I mean, maybe the homeschooling co-op could be put together where, parents could get together and say, we're homeschoolers and we do stuff together and we, pool our money or something. But I think you're right that some sly folks would turn it into crack and Budweiser, and their kids would go nowhere, and then everybody be upset again.
All right, so let's talk about the crack and Budweiser parents here, Mark. One of the big claims that I think one of the teachers actually who called over the weekend made was, "Hey, we teach everybody." We teach the people who, the kids who are abused at home, the kids of drug addicts.
Yep.
And that's, one of the things that's good about government schools was they make sure everybody gets an education. Now, whether it's a good education or not, that's another question. But they make sure that somebody is there to teach them something theoretically during the daytime hours.
I think that's something worth addressing, right? I think that maybe they're right. Maybe a private school could do no better for these kids that they get. Maybe a private school could. And the thing we'll never know is that the crack, children of crack addicts, or whatever it is that she claimed, it was something very similar to that. How good of students can these people be on average? I don't know the answer to that. And clearly the public school system gets stuck with them. But under my proposal, then these people would have a price tag, and the marketplace would attempt to provide a school or schools for them. They'd probably end up going to the same building because I'm giving the building to the teachers, and it's reasonably close to them. That's how public schools are designed. So, they could very well end up going back to the same school. But what would it look like if these schools had a a motive to turn these people around, rather than now, which is basically the motive of making, getting the teachers to stick around and what everything else that goes into it.
Their motives are to get the budgets to be larger the next year. Whether or not they've done a very good job doesn't seem to have any effect on whether or not the budgets are going to increase. It seems like the budgets go up regardless. Like here in Keene, where we live in New Hampshire, the budgets just keep going up, even though the school enrollment is either going down or stagnant. So they're not increasing the number of students in the government schools. They're losing them or staying the same, but the numbers just keep going up.
They would claim that's an economy of scale. Again, we don't know if it's an economy of scale because public schools exist outside of the economy.
Okay, but I'm going to play the critic here, the devil's advocate,
that's what you're supposed to do.
on your plan. So the person who's concerned about the poor kids that are abused and parents are neglectful,
which is always what everybody's interested in,
they're going to say, all right, well, if the government schools are now market schools run by the teachers and they're competing in a marketplace, why would they want to have these, low-life kids or whatever at their schools, Mark? They don't have an obligation to take them on, so what would be their interest in doing that?
Well, if your child keeps on getting kicked out of school, school after school in their given neighborhood, what does that say about you and your child?
You failed.
Right. I mean, like, you're an awful parent.
But they don't care. They're high.
Well, the parent?
Yeah, the parent's high on methamphetamine.
What am I supposed to do? Like, okay, look, I get it. 20%, 80% of attention is spent on 20% of students, and 80% of that attention is spent on 20% of those students.
Yeah.
There's if schooling is a good idea for most kids, that means that it's not a good idea for some kids. Some kids are not right for school, and I don't know what to do about that, but I know I don't want them in class with my kid. Do you want me to handcuff them to your kid? Because that's the kid that's effing it up for everybody else. That 1 out of 100.
So you're just saying let them hang out in the wind.
What am I supposed to do? If you're this bad, I mean, somebody's going to take that money, right? They're going to create a school that looks a lot like a jail. And that's where your kid's going to end up.
Or maybe not. Or maybe the marketplace will come up with some creative options that we've not thought of before.
But all I know is I don't want that stinking kid in with mine. And I don't want that. And do you want him in with yours?
No.
I understand the problem of this. But my problem is I want my kid educated. And if your kid can't handle 3 or 4 different schools, that's a problem you've got to handle, not me.
If you want to join us here, you are welcome to. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Huffington Post's article here, headline, "The Parkland shooting may have just cemented America's newest voting bloc. Furious teens and parents are emerging as a political force for gun control." This just sounds like a salivating article about how wonderful it is that all these kids,
finally, we've got it.
Right, they're getting
in
active.
Our grasp.
They're going to vote.
We will ban something. I don't care if it's just a color black and a rifle. We will ban something.
Yeah, so we'll tell you more about what they have to say here in moments. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. And then Johnson's going to give us 7 reasons to just shut them down. The government schools, that is. It's Free Talk Live. We'll continue. You're welcome to join us with your thoughts.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power, but there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Yeah, it's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want. All you have to do is dial in toll-free at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
And, of course, you can join us online over at freetalklive.com. Please amp the show. If you like what we do here on Free Talk Live, you can go to amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And it's $5 a month. You send that in via credit card, via PayPal, via Bitcoin Core, and then Free Talk Live will take that money in and invest it into the show so we can get on more radio stations around the country, bring new internet listeners on board. Mark, you said that we had a record number of radio stations recently. Is that right?
179.
Was that a record? I thought we were getting in the close to the record territory. I just wasn't sure.
That was a record.
For sure if it was. So that's good to know. And we can get more. We can get 200, 250, 300. It's possible.
We can get one more and get 180.
We'll get there. And we could use your help. So please, you get some cool perks if you join the AMP program. Go and get the list of them over at amp.freetalklive.com. The short list is you'll get access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group, the AMP-only Discord chats, and more. Go get all the details. Oh, and the AMP-only podcast over at amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com.
So while we've been talking about this, all these gun stories and the school shootings and whatnot, I just wanted to, before we, if we move on from this topic, I just wanted to mention that I was rushing tonight to get out a T-shirt for Liberty Minded, And that shirt that I launched tonight I was reported to the FBI, but they just ignored it.
You got some cool shirts over there at libertyminded.com, and you're always coming up with new stuff. And you're
trying to get a topical one out in some, a timely fashion this time around.
And you have the Free Talk Live gear, the
That's
official logo Free Talk Live gear, including, let's see, the hats, Free Talk Live hats.
That's right. Hats,
skull cap,
hoodies,
T-shirts,
both men and women's styles of shirt.
That's right.
Yeah, and I've got some DVDs. I've got actually, I've got a hard drive where you can get the first few seasons of Free Talk Live, including some content that was pre-syndication. If you want to hear
way back.
that wackiness, got that.
That's like 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So cool stuff over at libertyminded.com. Get over there. All right, so here's the story from Huffington Post, where they are just so excited. Melissa Jeltsin and Jennifer Bendry writing the article here about how Parkland shootings may have cemented America's newest voting bloc. Is the school shooting, going to make it so teenagers actually vote? That's what they want to believe.
Teenagers decided the 2016 election. I mean,
did they?
Yeah.
Really?
It was at least in 2 states or something. Yeah, I think it was close.
Because, historically, teenagers don't vote for crap. They just not interested.
It was close enough.
The reaction to the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, followed a familiar arc. GOP leaders offered thoughts and prayers. The media profiled fallen victims. Democrats urged action on the same gun safety bills they've been pushing for years.
As though those are going to fix it.
As Republicans said none of their ideas would work. But then the script veered off course. Teenage survivors, angry and emotional, got in front of cameras and demanded changes to the country's gun laws. They denounced the National Rifle Association and lawmakers who take its money as the cause of inaction. Now, I gotta say, I haven't been watching the news. I don't watch the news. I don't have the news to watch. I don't watch television. I don't have television to watch. But I did, see people posting about these clips of the teenagers talking to news media and saying that they were coached, saying that they were following a script, apparently, that they had talking points that they were making. Did any of you guys see this stuff?
I have seen it. Yeah, I'm somewhat skeptical of it all.
Skeptical of what all? All of the claims that
CNN was somehow handing out scripts to students. That sounds...
Is that what the allegations are? Is that they were following CNN script or someone else's script?
I'm sure they're putting together scripts. These people a couple of them are pretty polished. They could have very well put together their own scripts, right? They could write something.
They certainly could have.
This one kid's really great on camera. He's, he's a socialist.
Yeah. Isn't he like a drama school student or something like that?
Something like that. He's going to be good on camera.
They brought the actors out to to say these things.
I don't know who they are. These kids got together and wanted to solve this problem. This was at a high school. You're going to find some people who are going to want to get together. I believe this is relatively organic.
You think it's legit? Okay.
But they're feeding each other stuff. They don't. And they're kids, right? Like the fact that you happen to go attend a school where there was a shooting does not make you qualified to propose policy. Now, that doesn't mean they're all proposing policy. Some of them aren't. Some of them are just saying, hey, do something about this. In which case, my proposal for getting rid of government schools will help do that.
What about the other side, though? Obviously, the mainstream media has an agenda. And it's pretty clear what those agendas are, depending on which channel you're watching. Fox has an agenda. MSNBC has an agenda.
Clearly the agendas of the globalists.
He's got an agenda, too. And so what I'm wondering is, has anybody shown the teenagers who shoot guns and what they have to think about this? Because there are still teenagers out there who don't want to ban guns, right? Like, I bet you could find them here in New Hampshire, but I suspect CNN's cameras aren't pointing in that direction. That they're not even looking to talk to those teenagers.
I've heard some on some of the Republican talk radio shows about talking to some of the people from Florida who are pro-gun.
So yeah, I was just curious, how balanced is this coverage? And I suspect not very balanced at all.
Not balanced at all.
Right. So you're going to hear from those people on the right-wing radio shows.
This David Hogg kid is everywhere.
This is the kid Mark was talking about, the polished kid.
Yeah.
Let's go to Dan in Nebraska.
Well, he's the son of an former FBI agent.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Dan, you're on Free Talk Live, watching us on our webcam, cam.freetalklive.com. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Hey.
So I was listening to this story, and, I kind of see, when I read this stuff, I take it not personally as like an insult, but I take it personally as like a goal because, see, I have a lot of hope in Generation Z. And
Generation Z is after the millennials?
Yes,
Okay.
we're 1995 to 2009. Okay. And these kids are obviously a part of Generation Z. A lot of polls have actually shown that Generation Z is the most right-wing generation since the greatest generation. And I don't want to lose this hold we might be able to get because we're going to be the main competition for the millennials in the voter base. So if we let these kids ruin Generation Z, then we're going to definitely see a descent into socialism because we need the Generation Z.
Isn't the U.S. already a socialist country?
It's already far too socialist for my liking, but believe me, Ian, it could get worse. It could get a lot worse.
It could get worse, sure. So what are you saying? Are you saying that it sounds like you're saying two different things here. You're saying Generation Z is more likely to be right-wing, but also easily turned into socialists? I'm
trying to stop. I don't like what they're doing to our image because I don't want this media complex to foist Generation Z into having this sort of identity of being a active left-wing one when we still have the potential.
How could the media change a whole generation? I mean, are you saying that media would somehow affect what the generation... I mean, the mainstream media, shouldn't Generation Z be kind of more with it and more hip?
Yeah, aren't they getting their stuff from the internet? I mean,
why
would they be watching the news at all?
Yeah, this left-wing, right-wing stuff.
We don't watch the news.
No. So are you telling me that Generation Z doesn't like gay people? Because that sounds pretty right-wing, huh?
We are
okay.
So we are the least accepting. As far as a poll went, you can go look at this poll. It's actually a very widely cited one. It should be pretty easy to find on Google. Like least likely to like tattoos, to like premarital sex, to like on all social issues. Yes, most conservative.
So being socially conservative is somehow knowing the way?
Wait a second. My son is Generation Z. He is going to be 10 years old in March.
Okay.
His opinion on premarital sex is, let's say, not completely formed. Right? Like the only thing he knows about sex is what happens with barnyard animals, basically. And he's pretty sure mommy and daddy do it. So, yeah, right? Like I'm sure that premarital sex, he thinks that marriage and sex should go together. But I'll bet you his opinion morphs over the next the 10 years after this.
Yeah, hang on a second here, Dan. We're going to continue here in moments. The toll-free number is 855-450 free like freedom. Are the Generation Zs more likely to be libertarian? I don't know. You tell me.
Message and data rates may apply.
Remembering when to change your fridge filter is a hassle. Remembering the right filter is almost impossible. So at Filters Fast, we have some good advice. Forget it. Instead, remember this. Text BEST 33 to 443-443 and check fridge filters off your to-do list forever. Get it all taken care of for a fraction of big box store prices with a Filters Fast brand filter. To see how much you can save, plus get free shipping, text BEST 33 to 443-443. With a huge range of brand name filters available, Filters Fast is America's #1 online filtration company. And you can get a Filters Fast brand filter for a fraction of the price, delivered to your door every time you need it. No need to remember. It's not a matter of if you need a fridge filter. Why not text to get it taken care of? To see how much you can save and get free shipping, text BEST 33 to 443-443. That's BEST 33 to 443-443.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, You know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, February 27th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.54 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $40, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,722. Antiwar.com reports a U.S. airstrike in eastern Syria's al-Shafaa region has killed at least 25 people on Monday, with more than half of the slain identified as women and children, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. Details of the slain are still emerging, but U.S. spokesman Colonel Ryan Dillon attempted to downplay reports, saying the U.S. takes all allegations seriously, and that if any civilians were killed, they'd be included in the Pentagon's monthly list. The Pentagon, of course, tends to ultimately count only about 10 to 15% of the deaths in their official list. The al-Shafaa region is believed to be one of the last strongholds of the Islamic State forces inside Syria, and that has made it a popular target for airstrikes by various anti-the Islamic State factions. So far, however, the strikes have appeared to kill mostly just random civilians. The Islamic State in Syria is still very much a thing, however, as the group was far from totally destroyed in the U.S.-backed push in northern Deir ez-Zor, and massive numbers of fighters escaped into the countryside, where they are expected to go back into being a landless insurgency. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge ruled on Monday that former Turing Pharmaceutical CEO Martin Shkreli cost investors more than $10.4 million in a Ponzi scheme. U.S. District Judge Kayu Matsumoto found that Shkreli lied to investors in a hedge fund to encourage them to put up $6.3 million and lost $4 million belonging to investors from another fund by funneling their money into a drug company he founded called Retrofit Incorporated. Prosecutors argued Shkreli caused between $9 million and more than $20 million in losses. Shkreli's lawyer argued he caused no loss and hoped he would receive a sentence of 16 months or less, as he paid hedge fund investors their money back and more with cash and stocks in Retrofin. The judge ruled Shkreli should not receive credit for paying the investors back because he only returned the money after they became suspicious of the scheme. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday dealt a setback to President Donald Trump, requiring his administration to maintain protections he sought to end for hundreds of thousands of immigrants brought into the United States as children in violation of immigration laws. The justices refused to hear the administration's appeal of a federal judge's January 9th nationwide injunction that halted Trump's move to rescind a program that benefits immigrants known as Dreamers, implemented in 2012 by Barack Obama. The protections were due to start phasing out in March under the Republican president's actions, announced announced in September. Under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, roughly 700,000 young adults, mostly Hispanics, are protected from deportation and given work permits for 2-year periods, after which they must reapply. Congress so far has failed to pass legislation to address the fate of the Dreamers, including a potential path for citizenship. San Francisco-based U.S. District Judge William Alsup ruled last month that the government must continue to process renewals of existing DACA applications while litigation over the legality of Trump's action is resolved, prompting the administration's unusual move to bypass a federal appeals court and take the matter directly to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Trump administration argued that Obama exceeded his powers under the Constitution when he bypassed Congress to create DACA. In a brief order, the U.S. Supreme Court said the appeal was denied without prejudice, indicating they will maintain an open mind on the underlying legal issue still being considered by the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Immigration activists said they were grateful that the Supreme Court gave DACA recipients more time, but said many young immigrants are still left unprotected. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
My fellow sheep, election season is upon us. Are you one of the 12% of Americans who still approves of our government? Then we need your help to force the other 88% into compliance. Our democracy depends on it. We're an organization called Citizens Against Too Much Unfettered Freedom, or CATMUF. CATMUF is a bipartisan flock of sheep whose goal is expanding government until nothing else remains. Because the government is here to help you. How can you help CATMUF help you? By only voting for candidates dedicated to expanding government. It's easy. You don't need to study the issues. No matter what a politician says when running for office, they're all dedicated to expanding government. And make sure you tell all your friends and family to vote for more government. Here at CATMUF, we don't care if you vote Democrat or Republican, as long as you vote for candidates committed to growing our federal family. CATMUF, because folks just aren't smart enough to handle real freedom.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. You can join us here if you want to take control of the airwaves. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, 7 reasons to shut down the government schools immediately and permanently. In fact, maybe we should just kind of take them throughout the segments here, and we'll spread them out.
Sure.
But first, we're going to finish up with Dan. It's Ian Johnson and Mark in the studio here tonight. Dan had called in to talk about Generation Z. And at first, Dan, you had said that you believe Generation Z is more conservative than previous generations, but at the same time, you seem to believe that they are going to be affected by the mainstream media somehow. And it would seem to me that young people they should be more immune to mainstream media. They should be more with it. They should be more aware that mainstream media is clearly biased. They have more choices than any other generation prior to them as far as how to get their information, if they care about getting information, because most teenagers don't really give a flip about what's going on in the world around them. That's sort of the historic truth about teenagers. And but you had your opinions about that. And then Mark, you brought up the question of, well, is being conservative any sort of thing to really wear on your sleeve as a badge of honor in the first place? And shouldn't Generation Z be less conservative in some ways? Shouldn't they be more accepting and tolerant of others? Isn't that true about Generation Z? You're saying no?
So I obviously can't speak to every issue because, one, the poll I looked at only asked like 4 questions that were all social issues. But here's what I can tell you. I think that you're right about the whole media thing. I think that people who are Generation Z, after having lived an experience with all this internet, have become immune to propaganda and advertisement, not obviously completely, but far more so than anyone else before them. I think that we draw a lot more of our political socialization from the wide space of the internet, which I think is starting to, at least for Generation Zers, who in the last election, I didn't really get to see all the numbers about them, but what I could say is that it was only going to be 18, 19, 20. I got a vote in it, but there were only 3 years of Z who were actually eligible voters.
Right.
I think that it is a badge of honor because obviously...
What's a badge of honor?
I think it's a badge of honor that we're going to be the most right generation since the greatest generation, at least in our youth. Like, obviously, younger tends to skew more left and older tends to skew more right. But I think that point in the middle is what's going to be important, and that I think millennials are already starting to get up into their middle age. Or not middle age, but like their pre-middle age, their proto-middle age. They're still being the same. They're still the same millennials that everybody else talked about. Whereas, like, you read articles from Business Insider about Generation Z, they say they're more business-oriented, they're more freedom-oriented, they're more conservative, they're more employable, they're more almost everything that people said Generation Y was, and I can't tell you why it is.
So you're saying that now, isn't it possible that you're just living in Nebraska, and so therefore it's more likely that the people in Nebraska are probably going to be more conservative than people?
I've got this question about the greatest generation being conservative. I mean, they are now, but what were they like when they were 18, 19, 20 years old? I mean, these people were the children of socialists, tried and true progressive era people. And those were the children of the Gilded Age, which were, about as conservative as you could possibly be. I don't know. People change in their youth, from their youth to their old age. Usually it's towards the conservative, so that may back up your point, but old people tend to be conservative anyway, so I don't know that the greatest generation was even conservative.
All right, so I have 2 more things I want to say.
All right.
Really quickly, and then I'm going to hang up.
That's fine.
Okay.
So I think that when you look at like the parental dynamic, that's definitely an important factor. I believe that millennials took after their boomer parents in that they were definitely harmfully rebellious in certain ways to the thing that actually gets me the most about boomers is that they destroyed certain institutions that they later in life are trying to salvage up for themselves.
Which
or
ones?
They the way that I essentially believe that they how am I going to put I'm trying to think of what I've seen a few documentaries about baby boomers and how they basically were the first group to make their own identity. There was no real generational identity before the baby boomers.
I'll give you that. But
they decided
part of that was the conservative bullcrap that was going on surrounding race and to some extent sexual orientation. If the conservatives hadn't been such flying a-holes about letting people of color eat at lunch counters and go to school and that sort of thing, then the boomers would not have had the traction that they had. They were created, not born.
I think a lot of it comes down to religion.
How's that?
But I think we were created too because Generation Z's, Generation X parents were and are still in a lot of ways mostly very apathetic. And then our
Generation X isn't apathetic. It's creating the motion that the other generations are dealing with. I mean, I don't think that Generation X was called apathetic. Millennials have been called apathetic.
When they were teenagers,
don't worry,
right?
They're going to call your ass apathetic too. I suspect every generation has been called apathetic by the 2 generations that preceded it.
And they probably were when they were in their teenage and early 20-something years when their lives are focused on things like partying or whatever. But now you're saying that Generation Z isn't doing that. And by the way, I hate talking about generations.
Right, there's really nothing you can say that's intelligent about a generation.
Right, it's just collectivism. It's just a group of people who exist in a certain time frame, and I'm sure all the studies on them are, like any studies, probably biased and manipulated, and the statistics and so on and so forth. But Dan, did you have one more point that you wanted to make?
One more point. So there's actually now, because of that trend I was talking about, a meme about this that I wanted to make you guys aware of, because I know you're probably not in the same spaces as a lot of, Generation Z people.
We've never seen a meme. You're right.
Based, it's based to Generation Z. Based is like a new word for badass.
Okay.
BASED, and it's because
Generation Z just doesn't know how to spell.
My question is, how do you know that your generation or whatever? How do you know that this generation knows Dewey?
Is that a meme?
Do you know Dewey?
Well, if you look at where you'll find,
I don't think he's very well meme versed.
Really?
They're the dank. They know the dankest wags.
You've out memed him, Johnson.
If you go onto a poll on 4chan, have you ever been there on that board?
I think they called once.
They called. Yeah, that's right.
I'm too old school. I still stick to B.
Dan, thanks for the call tonight, man. I do appreciate the discussion. I really do. And I think that there are some interesting observations that, you can make about people in general. Like, we did read the story about teenagers today, and as he pointed out, they are having less sex, supposedly, right? They're getting together less physically in reality because they've all got their phones, and so they don't hang out anymore. And
they're miserable, and they can't get it up because of all the meds they've been put on. Look, I remember what it was like to be 16 years old and see somebody who was 28 and thought how old they were. But we're going to have to work on that acumen and dealing with them.
I just have to clarify. I don't visit 4chan.
Yeah.
I know about it from, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And no, do I visit the boards? No.
No. When we first heard about it, we went to see it, right? Yeah. Like when we first heard about 4chan as a thing, we went to check it out.
Occasionally it's like, what's going on 4chan?
Not really worth seeing, right?
Something bad.
All right, there's more coming up here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. We got somebody on hold who says he wants to contest our points. I don't know what that means, but we'll find out if he hangs on. And your calls and thoughts about whatever you want to discuss. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You may join us on the radio here and bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Joining you here in the studio, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
We've got Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. You can call us that way. You'll sound like you're almost in the studio with us. Or also, the Discord on-air call-in line is available to you as well over at discord.lrn.fm. That's, again, discord.lrn.fm. Join us there and join the other listeners that are hanging out in the Discord chat, where it's been hopping tonight over there, and it usually is. There's usually a lot of activity during the show, but also before, during, and after at discord.lrn.fm. Let's continue here. Your calls and thoughts. We go to Aaron. He's in New Mexico. And Aaron, you're on Free Talk Live. I believe you're listening to, is it KABQ there in Albuquerque?
That is correct.
Welcome.
Yeah, I don't want to challenge your point so much as I want to challenge your use of statistics, because it is really easy to get misled. You are quoting the drop in crime and therefore the drop in school shootings, but those count by the incident. They don't count by the number of people killed or injured. And so I would suggest that perhaps looking at just those numbers alone rather than the numbers about how many have died or been injured is significant.
Wait, are you saying that the school shootings are fewer today, but when they happen, more people are being killed?
I suspect that's the case. I've not researched this, but I know that the numbers have dropped, but the numbers being killed have not dropped. The numbers that have
You're
been killed
referring to the first hour of the show, where in Albuquerque, they're now hearing our first hour right now. So that's what he's referring to. Mark, was a story that you brought in about schools being safer today than in the past.
Well, an hour from now, I'll get my statistics
I don't
more
think
accurate.
any place
So there's 8.
I don't think any place is safer with the use with the easy access to assault weapons and similar kinds of devices.
Access to assault weapons really hasn't changed. AR-15s were available under the assault weapons ban.
It's gone up and down at various points in history. And
AR-15s were available at the time. Under the assault weapons ban, they could not have 2 modifications to them. So they were available. It's just that
I don't know what time you're referring to, because you're being really
Brady
vague,
Bill.
but that's okay.
Brady Bill.
Well, I'm not referring to the Brady Bill. There have been other.
Well, that would be the one that was.
Efforts to block it.
So these numbers are since 1996. However, the Brady Bill was in effect at about that time, so that's why I'm referring to it.
Okay. Well, nevertheless, the point is pretty simple and straightforward. Regardless of the reduction, perhaps, in the number of shootings, the number of deaths has increased. So I don't think that makes a very good case for schools being safer.
So since 1996,
thanks. Smug.
You don't want to talk. You don't want to actually have a conversation.
You just want.
You're just going to drive by.
Yeah,
and
of course he did. Of course he hung up.
Yeah, just going to drive by.
That was like a classic textbook example of smug liberal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm so smart. I'm smarter than you. You guys don't know how to use statistics. You're just quoting the wrong statistics, and I'm going to tell you because I believe this. And here, you know what? You know what confirmation bias is? I mean, you know a lot about statistics, right? So you would be aware of confirmation bias, where you
explain that,
where you think that everything that you believe is confirmed, because you will read anything that you possibly can that confirms your bias.
But isn't that also true for everybody else, like you?
Yeah, it would be. It would be true for everyone. Mm-hmm. So you have to look at both sides of an issue.
Which we tried to have a conversation with him, but he doesn't want to have a conversation.
Right,
so
exactly. And here's the thing, though. You can say that it's true. Would it be true for me? Yes, of course. I am against statism, right? Because my confirmation bias is towards liberty. So when it comes down to an issue being between right and left,
you don't have a bias.
I'm exposed to both sides constantly. Unlike somebody who's on the right or the left, I'm always exposing myself to both sides of the argument.
Man, there's a bunch of crap on both sides.
Political arguments, I'm exposed to both sides.
Yeah, it's not like my source was Heritage Foundation or the National Rifle Association.
It was what?
It was Northeastern University at northeastern.edu.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to find – I'm simply trying to put this in historical perspective.
Sorry, but our bias is not trying to control other people's lives.
Well, that is what my bias is, but I'm constantly searching for ways that I'm wrong. I mean, really, I am.
Maybe he's pointed one out. I mean, he claims that the shootings are more deadly today, even though there are fewer of them.
He didn't source it.
That's true.
I mean,
I did.
It's like Reason, Reason Magazine has said, and they've got their own like little YouTube channel.
He didn't stay on the line long enough for us to be able to ask him what his source was. He didn't want to have a conversation. It was just drive by with some attacks and then...
Let's go around the country trying to confiscate, 3 million weapons from a well-armed citizenry that would, most of them, or a lot of them, would rather start a civil war than acquiesce.
I thought it was 300 million.
What did I say?
3 million.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I meant to say 300 million. No, there's 300
million guns,
yeah,
right?
There's definitely as many guns as there are people. Because there are a lot of people that have more than
multiple.
one.
Yeah, some my roommate's got like 100 million in his room.
Two guns per every person. Some estimates go.
There are a lot of gun owners where you'll go up to them and you're like, hold on, it's going to take a while to unload all these onto the table to show you. You're talking about, if you're talking about reducing gun violence, banning guns is not going to be the way to do it. Gun grabs is not going to be the way to do it. You're just not going to be able to do it for the most part.
Pretty much. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, but some people still believe that they can just pass a law and then all of a sudden things will change.
Magic.
Let's continue, though. We've got Caleb in Chattanooga, Tennessee, listening to WGOW. Hello, Caleb.
Hey, guys.
Hey
Thanks
there.
for taking my call
Yes, sir.
again. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. We're on the air. Go ahead.
Well, I was listening to a conversation earlier, and one of your previous callers was talking about Generation Z and how they are more conservative than other generations. That was the claim, yes. I can't defend that statement. Now,
Are you a Generation Z?
Actually, I'm a millennial. I was born in 1991.
Okay. Well, get to work, you lazy good for nothing.
I know, right? What am I doing with my life, right?
Get your nose out of your phone, you little punk.
Now, I remember hearing a quote that was kind of stood out to me. It said that if you are young and conservative, you have no heart. But if you are old and liberal, you have no brain.
Yeah, it's something like that. I think that it's attributed to Churchill, and essentially it's like if you have been if you were 20 and not a liberal, you have no heart, and if you're by the time you're 40, you're not a conservative, you have no brain. I think is something like that. But yeah.
Something like that. I was paraphrasing.
Yeah. Well, I don't expect anything more from a millennial.
Caleb, thanks for the call today, man.
Taken.
I appreciate it, man. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733.
Those kids get such flack.
The millennials?
Well, they do.
They're not kids anymore. All right, there's more on the way. You can bring up whatever's on your mind here, 855-450-FREE, or you can call us on Skype. Skype username's LRN.FM, or the Discord on-air call-in line at discord.lrn.fm. It's Free Talk Live.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free to join us here. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype, so join us there. Skype username is LRN.FM. Freedom Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value freedom, then Freedom's Phoenix has it. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. It's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. As we go back to the phones, to the fun. Let's talk to Gene, the Christian anarchist. He's calling, listening in Tennessee, and listening to us via our Twitch feed at twitch.lrn.fm, and watching, I presume, as well, because that's where our HD quality video is and exclusively available. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Go ahead, Gene.
Hello, guys.
Hey
I
there.
thought I would talk about collectivism since you touched on that earlier.
Sure.
And I know that, Ian, in particular, you have a very negative view of collectivism. I don't. I think that collectivism certainly has certain values, and I don't necessarily. Yeah, obviously, it's evil to use any force against anyone else. We're not going to say you should use collectivism for force, but collectivism for simply social means. There's really nothing wrong with that. I sure can't see it.
Well, the problem with collectivism is it ignores the individual. I mean, you make a statement about a group and you ignore the outliers, you ignore the individuals, you ignore the exceptions. And encouraging collectivism encourages that ignorance, doesn't it?
I mean, it's the definition from the creator of the word, Ayn Rand. Collectivism means the subjugation of the individual to a group, whether to a race, class, or state does not matter. Collectivism holds that man must be chained to the collective action and collective thought for the sake of what is called the common good.
Well, I think.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't necessarily believe everything Ayn Rand says either, but
she defined the word. She's the creator of the word. But I don't think you've got it
right. I would disagree with your interpretation of her definition. She's simply saying that you're binding somebody to the collective, and that much is true, but that's me binding them. It's like me saying all millennials act such and such way. I'm binding a particular millennial, you, I believe.
No.
No? Okay. Look, I don't know people's ages here. Ian's almost a millennial. I'll bind him to it. All millennials act like Ian.
Actually, I think Ian is.
It depends
I'm like
who you ask.
I'm right at the beginning of, or right at the end of.
It depends who you ask.
No, beginning of Generation X or end of Generation X. Yeah.
But certainly you can use collectivism to define a majority of traits in a particular group. My wife is Chinese. I can tell you so many
she can't drive, right?
Observations that I've made about Chinese people by paying attention to her friends, the Chinese people that I meet when I'm in China. I mean, you can't deny the fact that those things are real.
Sure.
I'm not denying.
I think that you can make generalizations, and generalizations in some cases are generally true, but other generalizations are sort of old school, and they're not true anymore. Other generations were never true in the first place, right? Like Jews never had horns.
Well, now you're making a distinction between accurate generalizations and inaccurate generalizations.
There's a huge difference
between. I'm merely talking about accurate ones.
There's also a huge difference between stereotype and collectivism. Those are very different.
I can give you an
words.
example. I'll give you an example right now, and I guarantee you it's true. Chinese people tend to believe that drinking cold water or cold liquids is bad for your stomach.
Because it ruins.
Okay,
it
now
ruins
there's
your
a collective observation, and I guarantee you it's true.
A collective observation, a stereotype, is not collectivism. They're very different things.
Well, then I must be misapplying what I believe collectivism is.
Yeah,
Johnson's going to hold
I'm
on to
making
this.
a judgment on a group of people based on observations.
Are you talking about Chinese people from China? Or are you talking about people who are ethnically Chinese?
They would definitely be Chinese people from China, because if you have a Chinese child, for instance, who was adopted into an American family and raised here, they will be totally different than Chinese people raised in China.
Because Chinese people in China generally have been raised to believe in qi.
Okay.
So they believe in this sort of naturalistic, weird medicine. They don't. Yeah.
Johnson, can you give me that definition of collectivism again?
So the definition of collectivism from the creator of the word is collectivism means the subjugation of the individual to a group. Whether to a race, class, or state does not matter. Collectivism holds that man must be chained to a collective action and collective thought for the sake of what is called the common good.
And I have a definition from dictionary.com, which is completely different, that says...
Not the creator of the word.
The political principle of centralized social and economic control, especially of all means of production.
So what we have here is a failure to communicate.
That was supposed to be a Florida prison warden that you were attempting to...
Oh, yeah, well, I added a little clink in there, I guess.
Well, it was appropriate. I think it's appropriate. I mean, we're not on the same page here with this term. I think, Johnson,
what we have here is a failure to communicate.
Boy.
That's better. Yeah, that's better. Okay, well, anyway, I think that jumping down people's throats because they exercise a little bit of collectivism really isn't very productive. I
don't think anybody jumped down anyone's throat.
We're human people.
I don't think anybody jumped down anyone's throat.
We're social animals.
It's important to remind people to not think about people in groups like that because it doesn't serve the individual. It ignores the individual. Whether we're talking about your definition of collectivism or Johnson's, stereotyping or whatever, it's important to not get lost in that stuff.
But you can also use these observations of collectivism for correction.
Okay. I think that there are observations.
I can try and correct a Chinese person by showing them that drinking cold stuff doesn't necessarily cause you to get a sore tummy, because I can point to the culture in the United States where everybody drinks iced drinks and nobody gets a sore tummy.
Yeah,
so
isn't it true
you
that,
can also use those things productively.
Yeah, but isn't it true that warm water is more absorbable or something like that than cold water?
It was written by a Chinese person.
I know no medical proof of this.
Okay.
I know of nothing that says that. No medical studies that say you're better off drinking cold over hot. I mean, other than too hot burns your tongue, obviously.
Good call tonight, Gene. I do appreciate the discussion. Appreciate the call from you, as always.
Supposedly, drinking a glass of ice cold water first thing in the morning, like a full 12 ounces or whatever, will help to jumpstart your metabolism, because the cold causes your metabolism to start burning calories. It has to warm the water up.
Doesn't sound like a bunch of hooey.
I don't know. Could be.
All right. Speaking of hooey, Sarah is on the line in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, I got breaking news.
Breaking news.
Well, my mother's gonna sign up with the good sugars from vine ripened fruit and vegetables I have been taking. You remember the network marketing that I was telling you about?
No, you're a network marketer now?
Well, I am not, but I try to help my friends up.
Your mom is a network marketer?
Your friends.
My friend is.
Your friend.
And I'm going to help her, So she gets a free bottle once, like every other month or whatever. So she's going to have my mom sign up under her.
Right? She's got to sell a certain amount of product in order to get a free bottle. They don't just network marketing companies don't just give out free product.
Right. I mean, it's like I buy a bottle I buy a bottle from her every month.
You do.
So
okay.
I don't know how much extra she makes. But
and what sort of magic potion is this?
Well, it's the galactose molecule. It's one of the 8 essential saccharides. It's only found in vine ripened fruit and vegetables. Mm-hmm. So we're missing it from our diet. Except
and
Mark,
what's the claim? What is it going to do? Is it going to cure cancer?
Well, she's supposed to help diabetes. Both my mom and my sister have diabetes. And my sister,
one of the rules in network marketing is you're not supposed to make product claims, because then you could end up getting hit with an FDA lawsuit or an FDA.
She is not a network marketer.
That's true. She didn't sign up.
Just send out your minions.
Hang on, Sarah. Let's talk about network marketing. It's fascinating. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. She's just trying to help her friend sell some questionable products. It's Free Talk Live.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm, so feel free to reach out to us there and join us on the Discord over at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you here tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark. And, of course, we've got all kinds of cool features on our website. In fact, you can sign up for our email list. Just go to freetalklive.com. The email sign-up box right there on the front page, toward the center, toward the top of the site. You'll see it. It's pretty obvious. And then we will send you email updates on usually a once-a-week basis to keep you in the loop with what's going on with Free Talk Live. So go and get on the email list over at freetalklive.com. We lost Sarah. She dropped off the line there. We were going to talk to her about network marketing. She was all excited about some product that I'm sure she was going to say was curing all kinds of things, which of course would be against the rules likely of the network marketing company, because they are always very, very careful to make sure their network marketing consultants or distributors or whatever they call themselves do not make health claims, because they haven't legally gone through the process to be able to do that with the FDA. And so on and so forth. But as you pointed out, Mark, she doesn't work for the network marketing company. She's just trying to help her friend, so they can't tell her not to say something. Anyway, it's an interesting business. Technically, there's nothing inherently wrong with network marketing, but boy, it sure does come off how best to describe network marketing? It sure does come off as pushy, annoying, desperate. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they have the same kind of similar pitch of, hey, just recruit 3 who recruits 3 who recruits 3, and then you'll be a quadrillionaire, and you'll get boats and island vacations and gold and diamond rings and cars.
Normal organizations, if they want people to sell, they hire salespeople. They offer a
commission.
Well, not just a commission, but they usually offer something to get you going, right?
Yep. A draw, as they call it in sales?
Sometimes it's a draw for, car dealers and stuff like that. But when I worked for Clear Channel, they gave me a guarantee for 6 months of what I would get paid. And if I beat it, I could opt into the commissions. But if I didn't beat it, the expectation is that I'd need some time to get moving, and I'd need money to get moving. These organizations don't do anything like that.
That's true.
They don't. They have the expectation that you will do the work before you get the pay. And
not only that, they ask you to buy their product too.
Lots and lots of it.
Yeah, the old statement is you got to be on the product to know about it, right? You got to be taking the product to be able to talk about it. So they want you to get on usually what they call an auto ship program, which Sarah sounded like she was on. She was ordering a bottle of whatever it was from her friend every single month. And again, the idea is if you get enough people to do this sort of thing, then you're going to be a billionaire. You'll be one of the what do they call them? The diamond distributors, the elite club. And the other thing that you don't really, people who can't do math or haven't really thought too far about it don't realize is if there are already a bunch of distributors in an area, then that area is probably pretty sufficiently taken care of as far as customers are concerned. So if you're the first distributor in any given area, you probably have a chance of getting somewhere with that if it's a decent product and a decent opportunity, and not all of them are. But if there's dozens of distributors in the area, well, you're going to have a lot of a harder time getting your product out there.
When I was in Sarasota, it seemed to be ground zero for the multi-level marketing bomb.
There's a lot of money there in Sarasota.
And what it seemed to be was this group of people, right? Like they networked with each other. And then whenever the next network marketing thing would come along,
jump onto that.
They would then network with each other to get in and set up their downline. And they understood downlines and all the way that this stuff worked and all that other kind of thing. And then, they'd try to get some other folks into it and, whatever it might be. And so they had this little system. There's a little club, and you're not part of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I was involved in it a little bit as a teenager, but I never really, in a serious way like you're talking about.
Right. And one time one of these guys sat me down, tried to pitch me on this stuff, and because he was a friend.
Get the pyramid chart out.
What's that?
Get the pyramid chart out.
Look, I know all that stuff, man. Yeah. I know all that. Yeah. I don't have time for this. I just don't. I'm not.
That's what you told him.
I'm not going to sell toilet paper for you and paper towels and whatever else household stuff. I don't have time for that. I've got a real job. Well, if you just make 3 hours a week, no.
Just make a list of 100 friends and then contact all of them.
But no. I don't want that. I'm looking at the prices here. I can beat that in Walmart.
Right.
I don't need this.
But it's the best toilet paper in the world, sourced from the best trees in the Amazon jungle.
Then you should be talking to somebody who's not in his late 20s.
Let's go to Aaron. He's in St. Louis, watching us on our cam feed at cam.freetalklive.com. Hello, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going?
You're on the radio. What's on your mind tonight?
All right. Oh, not much. I just kind of wanted to contribute to the conversation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a while back, I was working for a distributor who sold crayons.
Sold what?
Started off crayons.
Frames?
Crayons for drawing.
Frames for drawing?
Frames for drawing?
Drawing.
Okay.
Yeah, for drawing. You know, like kids use.
Crayons.
Oh, crayons.
Crayons.
Cranes. All right.
Crayons. Anyway, so my kid, you know, he liked the Crayola crayons, so I wanted to distribute those, but they started me off on the cheaper brand called Craytastic. Now, I did that for about 3 years, and I kept getting complaints that they were breaking. I lost all my sales. It only worked out for about another 2 months before I just up and quit, right? Well, anyway, I then moved on to toilet paper. The toilet paper worked out for about 2 years, but, you know, I sold the shitty brand of toilet
I'm
paper.
so sorry, but you're on the radio, and therefore you cannot say that word. I wish I would have known where that story was going.
Even if it might be a horrifically accurate description of toilet paper.
Yeah, I wish I could have heard the rest of that story. Apparently, there really is a brand called Craytastic. I did check that claim, so it sounded kind of silly, but that's
I
real.
would have gone, if I were that guy, I would have definitely always pushed the premium case of 264, which apparently
of the Craytastics?
Apparently you can get for $13.99. That seems to me like it might be a good deal. So if you always push just that one deal, like you could get a whole lot of colors for, you know.
Yeah, but is it a lot of colors or just a large case? So it's only 6 colors, it says here.
Oh, is it?
So you get 264 six colors.
Oh.
Yeah, not a big choice there.
Yikes.
Oh, that's too bad. I wanted to hear the rest about that. Anyway, what were we saying about network marketing? I don't know. One of us was saying something about that. I mean, it's definitely built brands. There's no doubt about it. Like Tupperware, for instance.
Amway,
right?
Avon.
I mean, Amway's just annoying. People are generally annoyed by that, but they are uncontrovertibly successful.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. They're still around, and they're still
I haven't looked
big.
strongly into the company, but there's probably somebody for whom Amway was a good idea until at least Amazon came along.
I bet you they're still out there cranking away. I know they rebranded as a different name a couple of decades ago when the internet kind of came around. And,
yeah, I remember that.
And I'm sure that there are people out there that will say that that it's a legitimate method of distributing product. And I'm not saying it's not. If you do have a good product, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It rubs people the wrong way. It's hard to really make that business work. It's a tough thing. Sales is tough to do. But when you're doing sales and sort of burning out your personal relationships at the same time because you're so desperate to get to the gold distributor level or diamond distributor and you want to recruit and it seems like such a great opportunity, if only your friends would see it the way that you do. And if only they'd all join, or 3 of them would join and recruit 3, then you'd be fabulously wealthy. But of course, most people don't succeed at this. They end up spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on product, end up burning their bridges with some of their friends and their family members, and then end up, failing at ultimately what they've tried to do. And then what do they have left? They got a bunch of product in a closet somewhere.
That's one of my biggest problems with multi-level marketing is that in many cases, the company essentially puts together a system where your relationships are meaningless to it.
Yeah.
Your labor prior to selling things, because selling
the footwork, the groundwork.
There's a lot of footwork that goes into selling something before you sell it.
Mm-hmm.
That labor is of no value to them, and you're supposed to just jump right in. I mean, they take people who are, I guess, like the fact that, bam, you're hired. Get out there and work.
You can set your own hours.
Yep,
That's a cool thing. Right?
It's funny now on the internet.
Yeah, it's very attractive. And of course, you got to watch out for Ponzi schemes. There's a lot of that with the world of network marketing. So, even if you can find a good product, if you can find a company that's legit and has a good product, then that's a good thing. But there's so many scams and schemes and, questionable products out there. The industry's riddled with them. There's a great website called Behind MLM that will review basically any company that comes to bear, including a lot of these new crypto ones as well. And if you want to research an MLM company, or a network marketing company, they do an awesome job of it. Check that out. We'll see you tomorrow, freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, February 27th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.54 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $40, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,722. Antiwar.com reports a U.S. airstrike in eastern Syria's al-Shafaa region has killed at least 25 people on Monday, with more than half of the slain identified as women and children, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. Details of the slain are still emerging, but U.S. spokesman Colonel Ryan Dillon attempted to downplay reports, saying the U.S. takes all allegations seriously, and that if any civilians were killed, they'd be included in the Pentagon's monthly list. The Pentagon, of course, tends to ultimately count only about 10 to 15% of the deaths in their official list. The al-Shafaa region is believed to be one of the last strongholds of the Islamic State forces inside Syria, and that has made it a popular target for airstrikes by various anti-the Islamic State factions. So far, however, the strikes have appeared to kill mostly just random civilians. The Islamic State in Syria is still very much a thing, however, as the group was far from totally destroyed in the U.S.-backed push in northern Deir ez-Zor, and massive numbers of fighters escaped into the countryside, where they are expected to go back into being a landless insurgency. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge ruled on Monday that former Turing Pharmaceutical CEO Martin Shkreli cost investors more than $10.4 million in a Ponzi scheme. U.S. District Judge Kayu Matsumoto found that Shkreli lied to investors in a hedge fund to encourage them to put up $6.3 million and lost $4 million belonging to investors from another fund by funneling their money into a drug company he founded called Retrofit Incorporated. Prosecutors argued Shkreli caused between $9 million and more than $20 million in losses. Shkreli's lawyer argued argued he caused no loss and hoped he would receive a sentence of 16 months or less, as he paid hedge fund investors their money back and more with cash and stocks in Retrofin. The judge ruled Shkreli should not receive credit for paying the investors back because he only returned the money after they became suspicious of the scheme. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday dealt a setback to President Donald Trump, requiring his administration to maintain protections he sought to end for hundreds of thousands of immigrants brought into the United States as children in violation of immigration laws. The justices refused to hear the administration's appeal of a federal judge's January 9th nationwide injunction that halted Trump's move to rescind a program that benefits immigrants known as Dreamers, implemented in 2012 by Barack Obama. The protections were due to start phasing out in March under the Republican president's actions announced in September. Under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, roughly 700,000 young adults, mostly Hispanics, are protected from deportation and given work permits for 2-year periods, after which they must reapply. Congress so far has failed to pass legislation to address the fate of the Dreamers, including a potential path for citizenship. San Francisco-based U.S. District Judge William Alsup ruled last month that the government must continue to process renewals of existing DACA applications while litigation over the legality of Trump's action is resolved, prompting the administration's unusual move to bypass a federal appeals court and take the matter directly to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Trump administration argued that Obama exceeded his powers under the Constitution when he bypassed Congress to create DACA. In a brief order, the U.S. Supreme Court said the appeal was denied without prejudice, indicating they will maintain an open mind on the underlying legal issue still being considered by the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Immigration activists said they were grateful that the Supreme Court gave DACA recipients more time, but said many young immigrants are still left unprotected. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
An unpopular police officer thinks about committing a racially motivated offense for a little support. A middle-aged man is having the best snacks of his life, and a housefly drops everything to go stand on a watermelon slice. This is the Onion Week in Review. Noting the youth center's ping pong table and array of DVDs and Blu-rays, local youth minister Mark Kindler told reporters this week that his church's new rec room has everything a teen could want. The youth pastor revealed that the basement facility's many teen-friendly amenities include a new Wii U console, an iPod dock for the teens to play any music they like, and some comfortable recliners for those who just want to relax or do their homework after school.
We've really gone out of our way to give the rec room a laid-back atmosphere. It's stocked with snacks, but sometimes at the end of the week, we'll spring for some pizza. Honestly, I wish I had a place like this when I was their age.
In other news, increased violence leads the State Department to issue an advisory for Americans traveling to 1861, and an elderly lobbyist is always droning on about how little legislation used to cost in his day.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
No fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here, and declare your independence from here in Stanford in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, from the BEA beautiful studios of Freedom's with an S, Phoenix.com. That's the best I get. Well, we're live. You know, we're back. It's Tuesday, February 27th, and we're back in studio. I know I appreciate all the emails and people calling and saying, "What's up, man? What's up?" Well, I'll tell you what's up. We got a whole bunch of people that we've been visiting with, a whole bunch of news to get to you guys, and I'm telling you, the future is bright, but we got a lot of stuff we got to go through. And one of the people that's going to help me get through all that, Danny Sessoms. Danny was there doing the crypto show in Anarchapulco. The crypto show in Anarchapulco is definitely a standard, and I've been watching. I'll tell you what, after it, I was watching the crypto show, Danny, and finding out what was really going on behind the scenes. Danny, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Pretty good. It's nice and early. I think it's illegal for me to be waking up this early in Mexico.
Oh, that's right. Are you still there?
Oh, yeah.
Are you staying?
Yeah, well, we've got a lot of work to do here.
Really? So, you're staying forever and always? You're not in Texas no more?
Oh, no. I'll be back and forth to Texas, but we just have a lot of work to do with what we've been project to do here for Dash.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We get to talk about that. All right, let me tell the audience what's going on. Danny, after the hurricane, when you had a lot of people went philanthropic on Dash and Bitcoin Cash, and a lot of friends, said, Danny's doing the good work of and saving America and Americans after the hurricane, and the crypto community went out and did, some good. Well, they got building skills and so on, and there's definitely a need in Mexico, especially after Acapulco. We've lived through 2 earthquakes, I'm like, somebody quit shaking the table, man. What's up? So this is, I guess buildings in Mexico City, have been coming down on a regular basis. The Pacific fire rim of volcanoes be going somewhere. So he started building down there, and he started building some more, and they're building some more. Tell us all about your building, Danny.
Yeah, so what we ended up doing, actually, it was kind of a joke when we were doing the hurricane relief there in Texas. I sent a message to Jeff, "Hey, man, I see the earthquake just happened. We're loading up. We're heading down there." And, he's like, "Oh, no, it's not that bad." Well, come to find out, it was pretty bad. So we put in a proposal to come down here and try to do some good with Dash. And, what we found is outside of Puebla is a small city called Metepec, and there's quite a bit of damage there. So what we're able to do is build houses for people who have no help. And luckily, we've actually gotten a list. There's kind of an official government and an unofficial government, but both of them have a list of who received money. So we were able to get our hands on this list and figure out who really does need some help, and we're helping them by building them a house for free. And they're kind of skeptical. They're like, why are you doing this? But
because you didn't get any help, and the people that got help multiple times because they know the form of help.
Right. And actually, one of the projects that we're going to be working on, I think it's hilarious because it's a government project. The city government, the building, what is it? It's called the DIF, D-I-F, which is a senior center for, the local seniors. And they're able to get a meal for 10 pesos there. Whoa. Well, the government doesn't have any money, or the city government doesn't have any money to help them rebuild this building, so we're actually doing it. And it's not only Dash that's helping us, but Roger Rivera, that tightwad, he's always helping us. That horrible human being with his Bitcoin Cash, and Zen Cash, and one of your favorites, Nexus. Those guys are stepping up. We've got Decred and Jim Blasco's Aspire platform. They've all agreed to contribute. So this is going to be a community center built by the crypto community, and the president of the city is going to allow us to put emblems of each one of these cryptocurrencies on the building. Or not the houses that I'm building, I'll be putting Dash emblems on those, but this whole city is going to be just covered in cryptocurrency stuff.
Okay, so it's going to be the city crypto built.
Exactly. The president came to me the other day and told me that he opened a Bitcoin wallet. So now I'm going to have to get him to open.
Yeah, see, this is how it goes. That's one thing. Did you do a Dash proposal for this? Is that how this started? Tell me about that process.
Yeah, so as part of our show, we got quite a bit of positive feedback from what we did down on the coast, so I decided to go ahead and pitch this from Mexico. But it's not just about building houses; it's also about building community and trying to get Dash in as a tool for remittance in Mexico. So, the Mexicans now are sending their money home from the U.S. to Mexico through Western Union.
$1 billion.
Yeah, a part of that pays for what? The wall.
Yeah, really? Is that what you're slinging? That's awesome.
Yeah, why would you want to send money home and help pay for the wall?
No, I bet you got a brochure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is so the audience understands. Remittances is people that are immigrants into the U.S. from the Philippines, China, Mexico, Africa, whatever, and they live in the large high life of almost minimum wage or anything. If they got extra and they send it back to mom, like what you're talking about, you're feeding someone for, what'd you say, 15 pesos? What are they? I mean, it's like 10 pesos, 17 to 1, I think, 17 pesos to $1 about. They'll say 20 to 1. So you're doing it for what, 75 cents, 80 cents or something?
As far what I've got going is, so I'm putting in ATMs on the U.S. side, and I've got a special code that we're sharing in the immigrant communities that will allow them to get Dash off the ATM for